get you some side cables, no drinks on the table.
Welcome to Bellagio Poker on the Strip. This is our second live show. My name is Dallas Scott. I am your host. I am joined today by my co-host, Mr. John Harden. How are you doing, John?
Good, Dallas. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful. I think we're going to have a really, really good game tonight with this lineup. And, of course, we're joined by the director of things that are kind of important at the Bellagio, Mr. Craig.
Good, Dallas. Thanks for having me again.
We got a really interesting lineup here. We have Ryan LaPlante, who last year, he's sitting in the one seat, had 12 cashes in the World Series of Poker. Plus, he won a bracelet and $190,000. And for about 3 days, he had the record for most cashes in a single World Series of Poker. And then he lost it, and he's actually kind of heartbroken because somebody cashed in the main event and then cashed in a little one drop, and Ryan lost a flip.
You know what else he's got? The first pot of the night.
We got two people.
He's raising tickets.
I mean, he's Ryan LaPlante. Apparently, he wins a lot of pots. We'll talk about that as we go along tonight. But he ended up with the second most cashes. He had the record, and he ended up with second most, and he got 13. He had 12 cashes in the World Series of Poker. That's a huge accomplishment. We have Ryan Peace in the 2 seat. Ryan is a regular 2-5 to 25. Ronnie Peace, thank you, sir. That's why we're here. Ronnie Peace, he's a regular 2-5 to 25-50 player. I had a great chat with him before the game. And in our 3 seat, we have somebody who just hit us up on it. We have somebody who hit us up on our poker at BellagioResorts.com. Bellagio Resort.
It's not about winning, it's about looking
And
good.
he said he wanted to play. His name is Dr. Abdul. He's an actual doctor. He's here in Vegas for.
Hey man, this is nationwide, all right? Anyone in the world,
We had this conversation before we started with him and how to pronounce his name. Dr. Ahad. He's actually here for the Society of Hospice Doctors Convention, and he said he went for about an hour, got bored, and decided to come to the Bellagio.
Yeah, he said he'd rather play some poker.
And he actually played the 8160 mixed game all night last night till about 8:30 in the morning, and now he came back to play online here. So we also have John, who's in the 4 seat?
Robert Stan is our 4 seat today.
And Robert's a regular 5'10", 2'5" player here at the Bellagio. Robert saw the stream and said, hey, I want to be a part of this too. In the 5 seat, we got Mr. Michael Macy, who's another regular 5'10" player here at the Bellagio. Gary Hurst is a regular 2'5" player. Brian Kopis. I don't know much about him. John, what do you know?
About who?
Brian Kopis?
I know about as much as you, unfortunately.
He's our kind of a wild card in this game tonight. And then kind of a weird coincidence, Jared is sitting in the 8 seat, and Jared Gordon is a pharmaceutical rep, and he's actually here for the same convention that Dr. Ahad is here for. And he thought the convention was boring too and decided he wanted to come play some poker. He's actually been on quite a few live streams in the past. I'm just saying here what we got here. John, what's going on in the action?
I've got a pair of 5s as the best hand and a bunch of bricked over cards. Got a gutter for Gary, and now we finally got top pair for the doctor.
Let's see how he plays this hand out.
He does have the button as well, so we'll see what happens.
Ryan checks. Ronnie checks. What's the doctor? Doctor, that's looks like 120 here. And he should probably pick up
120
his
into a little bit less, or a little bit more, excuse me. So he's going to pick it up. Oh, no big deal.
Easy. See how easy it is to come here to Bellagio and play, pick up pots? So now we're
Probably a little problem with the audio. We're getting fixed. Apparently, the Hammer commented we're going to get it fixed here in just a second. Get the table audio squared away so you can hear us better.
All right, so let's see what's going on here in this action.
Starting a new hand. So what game are we playing here, Dallas?
We're playing 2-5-10.
3 blind games.
Yeah.
Been popular here on the stream so far.
Yeah, people seem to like
it
the
a
automatic
lot.
straddle. And we do allow a straddle of a straddle here at the Bellagio. So you can go 2, 5, 10, 20, 40, 80, 160, all the way around to the button. If you like to play big pots, this is the place to be. So Ronnie's going to pick up. He's going to raise here. Just at 40.
Opening with the pocket
aces. That's an easy hand to play, right? Maybe. Michael's going to call here with pocket 3s. He's going to go set hunting. Gary folds.
A likely story.
And what's Brian looking at here? All right, Brian's gonna call. We're gonna see a flop.
Oh, big pot here.
Big pot here coming. All right, both Michael and Ron have flop sets, and Brian's actually got a gut shot straight draw here. Let's see how this hand plays out on the flop.
We're certainly going to see a lot of money going into this
There's
pot.
going to be a lot of money here.
This is going to be a bad start for somebody.
What's Michael thinking here?
How much can I possibly get in the middle?
He's just going to flat call here,
At least
right?
have ace queen. That's what he's really thinking.
Oh, it's okay.
Brian's probably thinking he's probably got close to pot odds here, maybe to call this. Yeah, if he's going to call, look for his jack on the turn, make a set.
No raise out of Michael, waiting for a bigger street. Nice
Nine
little
of clubs
flank on
doesn't
the
really
turn.
help anybody. Michael's like, if I check, will he bet again? That's what he's thinking, right? Like, or do I need to bet out here so he doesn't check back? Michael's going to bet a set, which is guaranteed that money gets in the pot, right? Because he doesn't know. I mean, maybe he thinks Ron has a smaller ace or something there. Maybe he thinks he might check back after getting 2 callers, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have the last ace, but, you know, you're just praying for him to have. I got this backwards. You're talking about Ronnie hoping that Michael has an ace?
Yeah.
It's hard to have the last ace, so you're hoping he's got anything. I mean, it's hard to make a pair and hold them, so when you flop top set, it's hard to get action.
So Michael let out. Brian folded his gut shot. He's not going to play the hand any further. What's Ron? Now Ron's thinking here, oh, please have a hand that you can call with, right? Is he thinking about raising, or do you think he flats here on the turn?
Got to try and build a big pot here. It's going to
There
be
is
hard to get the.
There's a club draw and a couple straight draws out there, but does he think that Mike might have called floating something like King Jack of clubs or something maybe, or Jack 10 of clubs there, looking for a gut shot, picked up a flush draw? Why is Mike betting out when he only flatted the flop? So,
Yeah, you've got to put a raise in here. I mean, as deep as they are with only, $300 in the pot going into the street, to try and get the $1,800 that they've got left in, you've got to get a raise in somewhere. It's going to be a lot easier to get it in now than when a scary card comes off on the river.
and let's be honest, set over set, somebody's going to lose chips here, right? It's probably everybody's least favorite hand in all of poker, right, is set over set. You're always thinking that your set is good, even a set of trays here. Maybe Mike's hoping that Ronnie has ace queen or something like that, or maybe
exact hand
ace
he's
king,
praying for.
and he thinks that he can get Ronnie to pay him off here.
So let me ask you this. Is Mike calling here? Is alarm bells going off when he raises the turn?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's, again, sets are the hands that probably most people lose a lot of money with. I'll tell you, the one person I've ever seen like fold a big hand like this, and it was to me one of the most amazing folds I've ever seen, was John Uwanda a few years back. Was playing the main event at the World Series of Poker. He flopped the top set, guy flopped middle set, and Uwanda just called him. The guy makes quads on the turn, and John Uwanda gives the hand up on the top full set to quads.
That's tough to do.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Ronnie's just going to rip it all in.
Yeah, he's putting it all in. He's all in.
I can't.
And Mike's now
imagine
calls.
Mike's-
Yeah.
Okay. That's a cooler.
Yeah, Mike says
I'll
good
set over
hand.
set.
So I'll tell an interesting story about Mike. Mike was not in our original lineup tonight. He came in. He said, "Hey, I want to be on on the Twitch feed tonight."
Good start.
And
That's
we had
good.
somebody
Got him a seat.
cancel.
Yeah, someone canceled
He
last minute.
canceled, and he comes on in and loses $2,000 in the second hand of the night.
Thank you very much.
I wonder if he's kicking himself yet. We'll see.
You play enough poker, it's just,
It's business as usual.
You know.
One thing about Mike is like he's very well liked in the room here because he's always happy, he's always joyful. Even when he gets stuck in the game, he's never bitter about it. He just takes it as it is. It's poker, and sometimes you get stuck, sometimes you.
I mean, honestly, when you see a guy handle a beat this well,
Yeah.
there's something to be said for that. I mean,
And he just
and
pays
right
off
off the bat.
And he pays off the bet and just dips into his reload cup. And now it's time to reload. If you notice, the players on the table have those plastic cups in front of them. Those are our Bellagio reload cups. The max buy-in in this game today was between $500 and $2,000 max buy-in. And so, in
Come here to lose.
case you end up in a bad situation like Michael was there and you want to add some more chips to your pot, we allow you to put the chips on the table, but they're not in play until they come out of the cup.
The reload cups are becoming quite popular here on the Bellagio Pot stream.
And actually, Mike said that because he didn't know that he was actually going to be in the game, he actually has his own reload cup he was going to bring, and he didn't bring because he just wasn't sure if he was going to be in the game. He didn't want to bring it around.
If they lose,
So where are we at in the game right here? We're still,
On the deal.
and where's the button? The button is on Michael. So Gary's a small blind, Brian's the big blind, and Jared is, I'm sorry, yeah, and the 10, the straddle, the auto straddle is on Jared. pulls. Roberts raising with an ace deuce. A diamonds. It's folded to him. He's in the cutoff. It's probably a great play, right? He thinks.
Michael's got to go Bemona's loss to whoever will listen in the room here. And I don't blame him one bit.
So Limit Hold'em guy had a question here on the stream. They said, reason why they can't put chips from the reload cups into their pocket? There's no reason. They just want to have them ready to go.
They want to have them ready to go.
Yeah,
No, of course
absolutely.
do.
If they want to keep them in their pockets, that's fine too.
Yeah,
But
You
we
are
had
not-
some players that they were ready to be in action as quick as possible.
Right, yeah, you do not have to have them on table. You can put them in your pocket, but people just want to have them ready. They don't want to have. A lot of people don't know that cash does no longer play in Las Vegas. It hasn't for
Yeah,
like
nowhere
2
else.
years. So you can't have cash on the table, so they just prefer to have the reload chips so they're ready to go. And we'll see what
And again, for those on the stream that are asking, this has become unique to our stream here on Bellagio Cup,
Yeah.
or Bellagio Pots here, that the reload cup is in action again. Those
And the
chips are not
players come
play.
in asking for them. Hey, where's my reload cup?
Right,
Where's my reload
right.
cup? Can I bring my own cup? Of course, you got your own reload cup. Bring it on in.
Yep.
We welcome it. And we're actually going to get Craig, who's our director of poker and something operations. It's race and sports book, right? Or sports and race book or something.
A little bit of info for behind the scenes here.
I think you're going to get it right by season 2.
Right,
Dallas.
season- yeah, so
Dallas had literally one job to do today. That was figure out what this job title was.
here's the problem. Like, I do not want to upset Craig's significant other. Go ahead, John. What's going on in this hand, John?
Dallas, we got Ron's opened and gotten 3-bet by Brian with the 2 kings. Just gave it up. Okay, never mind.
He raised trying to pick up a couple blinds, right? And he just decided that once he was re-raised, that Queen Jack wasn't the hand he wanted.
It's a hard hand to play to a 3-bet.
Especially out of position, right? Because he's out of position there. He's never going to know where he's at on the flop unless he just knows a lot about who he's playing. We really have kind of an interesting dynamic here tonight. Gary Hurst is our 7th seed, right? And he is roommates with
Robert, the 4th
Robert
seed.
in the 4th seed. I can't wait to see them in some pots. And see, Gary just got married over the weekend. And he said this is the first time he's ever actually had to ask his wife if he could come out and play poker.
He full on had to ask for permission before coming to play tonight, which I
Yeah.
think is the first time. So, but anyway, we want to say congratulations.
Yeah,
to Gary.
congratulations to Gary. My question is, though, since we now know that Gary's wife runs the household, obviously, if Brian beats, I'm sorry,
Raise and take it here, nothing important.
Because I talk shit as soon as I saw you. That's why.
if he loses the pot to his roommate, does his wife put the roommate out?
Oh, yeah, makes him sleep in the
garage.
garage,
Yeah,
90-degree
yeah,
heat.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it'd be rude not
So
to.
you got to go get a room tonight, right? Go ahead, John. What's going on Twitter?
Got a question from Aitden. No.
That was the perfect
Whoever
time
it
to
was.
get you.
I missed it. Anyway, the question is, are the cups just for this live stream table, or are they for the whole room?
And yes, that's just for the live stream table.
Although we're not going to forbid someone from implementing this in our normal cash games, obviously. You're more
I'm
than
actually
welcome
rooting
to
for
bring-
that. You know, I mean, since we do have the director of poker operations here.
Oh,
I mean,
hey, Dallas, I want to give a shout out first to our moderators, and they got my title right.
They got this.
So they got to step up on you. Sorry.
No, that's what they get paid for. They get things right. Maybe we could institute that, Craig, in some of our games, right? Maybe we
Hey,
have
when they're
a
ready,
reload cup.
I think we got a new thing that's going to sweep across the poker
Yes, we're
community.
industry. And people are going to go in other rooms. Well, the Bellagio does it.
There we go.
That's right. We do it. We have the reload cups. Maybe we should put that in our 5-10 games, in our 10-20 games, or even our 2-5 and 1-3 games. I think actually it might put our chip runners out of job.
There's plenty of work to be had.
All right, we're going to see a flop here. John, what's going on with this flop?
We've got 2 players that flop open-ended here. And Jared in the 9 holes effectively got squadoosh, and unless he picks up a club on the turn here. Flop checks through.
I gotta tell you, like, I think we talked about set over set being people's worst hand that people just don't like. How about when you flop a straight draw against a bigger straight draw,
Yeah.
but the smaller straight draw makes a pair and you lose the hand?
Yeah, that's not a fun one. Here, Gary's made the stone nuts, and it's going to be a little hard for him to get any
Yeah,
action unless... Nope.
No.
Bet and take it. Small pot
That's
winner
it for Gary.
for the newlywed.
Gary Hurst.
Taking chips home to mama. Now, if you're coming out to Las Vegas, please make sure you come on out. We have great things going on throughout all of our MGM properties. First thing we should tell you is you got to get an M Life card, right? Because you can earn comps for food and other things around the properties. You see on the screen that Chris Brown is coming to concert. If you end up with enough point stuff, we can get your concert tickets through your host. So you don't want to miss out on those opportunities. You want free rooms. Yes, earn your points on your M Life cards. That can happen. We also have a Bellagio poker rate. All you have to do is call the room and ask for Colette or Penny, and they will tell them when you're coming to town. They will get you the poker rate. We only require 6 hours of play per day for that. Any action going on, John?
Pre-flop action folded all the way to the small blind, it looks. No, Brian in the cutoff is opened here with the mystery hand. We got a good question in the chat. What are the main clubs in Bellagio?
The bank and
Hyde.
Hyde.
We've also got the nice little lounge called Lily.
Yeah, I prefer Lily. I like it very laid back, very nice.
Craig, maybe you want to answer this question. How do I play in this game? Is there a list?
Yeah, absolutely. So please send us an email, poker@bellagio.com. It's poker at BellagioResort.com. It's hitting on the scroll there. Please reach out and feel free to give us your information. We'll try to get you on the stream. We're filling up the next 3 weeks of streams, and then we're going to shut down for the summer because we're busy, and then go from there.
And that is actually how Jared and Ahad got into the game. They sent us emails, and they told us when they were going to be in town. Again, it's poker@BellagioResort.com. They said, hey, we're coming to town, we want to play, can we do it? And the funny thing is they're both here for the same convention, but they don't know each other. Jared's a pharmaceutical rep. I got a funny feeling that by the end of the night he's going to be trying to sell Dr. some pharmaceutical things here. Go ahead, John, what's going on there?
Bad luck for Ryan in the one seed. Raise and take it with the 2 aces. Winning a small pot's better than losing a big one, though, I guess.
You got $17 there. I mean,
yeah. Got a couple questions in the chat here. First is, can the RFID tables handle stud or Omaha 8 or better? I believe the answer is Omaha is absolutely fine. We can do any flop game we want to, be it Omaha 8, pot limit Omaha 8 or better maybe.
Right.
That would be fine. And then later on there's a question about, do we plan on spreading PLO at all? Or just
100%. No.
Maybe, yeah, for sure.
No, for sure. We have a lot of our 25, 50, 5100 players that want to play a PLO game on here. That's going to happen in the future. And no, the IFD does not handle draw games or stud games very well. We're trying to work with the developers of the technology and trying to work that out so we can put some of those games on here. We will have limit games on here from time to time. What's that, Craig?
Dallas, we're going to talk. We're going to chalk this up to a professional disagreement about the limit game on the stream.
I like to watch the limit games. I think they run fast. I think and we can bring limit back. I think limit is actually making a comeback.
Make limit great again?
Yes.
Is that where you're at?
Yeah, I am.
I don't begrudge that statement.
I think there are a lot of great no-limit players like Ryan LaPlante, who's from Minnesota, where he could only play limit. He wasn't allowed. It's against the law to play no limit.
Cut their teeth playing limit hold'em.
Yeah, and I think one of the important things about limit is you learn how to save bets, right? In limit, and that one bet it can make or break your hour, or your night when you're playing limit poker. And I think that's where a lot of these guys hone a lot of skills, is learning to save bets, and you end up doing the same thing in no limit game, but the bets are much bigger. So Ron's got an ace jack of hearts and ace hearts jack of diamonds. What else is going on in the hand, John?
Folded through to the $5 blind, owned by Gary with the suited ace. Unfortunately, it is outkicked by the jack of diamonds.
But as we all know,
Ryan's also going to come along with the mystery hand, 3 ways to a flop for $30.
Looks like they both flop a gut shot with a king, queen, 5 board here. No spade draw, unless Brian has one because he has a mystery hand.
Mystery hand for Brian. I wonder if that flop hit him.
We will find out shortly here.
I'm going to say so.
Yeah, he's betting. Did he come in with a hand like king, queen, or maybe king, jack, king 10? He's betting his king, not trying to give up a free card here to anybody, and he's going to win the pot.
Take it. Doesn't even matter. Didn't even have to look, although I'm sure he did. Nice.
We have had people play hands blind here before and win some nice huge pots. They don't have the 7 deuce game on tonight, right? That is not on, but we do encourage that type of action here going on.
We had some big pots last week because of the 7 deuce game.
Yeah.
There's a look out over our beautiful room, as usual. It's packed and full. If you're looking for a game in Las Vegas, we have your game. You can't see right now, but for some reason it seems to be every Wednesday night while we're doing the strip. In Bobby's room, we got a 25-50 no-limit game with a $25,000 minimum buy-in. It's a funny game because we have this conversation about this game every week. There are people who come in here at like 10 a.m. in the morning, knowing this game's not going to start till 5, and they want to get on the list to play this game because it's so much action and it's so much fun. It's become a regular staple in our room, just like our regular normal Bobby's Room games. Looks like it is. Where are we at in the action, John?
Folded to Robert and cut off. He's open, and now we're to the blinds. Looks like it's going to be another raise and take it.
Easy peasy. Just pick up $17 at a time. You make a lot of money doing it if you make,
I mean, that's at least a gallon of gas in a candy bar.
And maybe
That's
a loaf
one
of
way
bread.
to do it, or just hit the set over set like Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately for Mike.
One's a little more showboaty than the other.
A little flashy. Those are flashy.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so we're back. Our Bellagio Cup poker tournament is going to be phenomenal. It always is.
I'm having a hard time believing this is our 13th edition
Yeah, isn't that
of the
crazy?
Bellagio Cup.
Are you
actually,
serious?
Yeah, believe it or not. And I actually
That's what
remember
that X111 on III means on the screen.
Wait,
John.
those were
13.
Roman numerals, John. Yeah. We'll get you a graph later.
I'm used to the hash marks.
That's okay. Like I don't know what Super Bowl it is because once it gets past the X's, I don't know how X's and the V's. I don't know how to keep track either. But no, it's July 13th to the 18th. It's a $10,000 buy-in. Last year we had an amazing star-studded final table. Nick Schulman, Chance Cornuck. It was insane, and we do it to coincide with the WSOP main event. We have 3 days in which you can register.
Yeah. So we take an extra day of registration over
Right.
the.
So if you
normal
bust out of
10Ks.
the main event, you can come on in and play this 10K event. We also have a 25K there, and my baby. I call it my baby because
You made it happen.
yeah.
You did all the legwork.
But I gotta be honest with you. Go ahead, John. What's going on in the chat?
Just a couple quick questions here. First one is how do we track the stacks as far as tipping the dealer and stuff like that? The honest answer is it's a rough estimate. We
Right.
try and keep track the best we can, but it's not exact. The other question is this game a time rate game? That is correct. We're charging $7 per player for half hour, same as our normal $5-10 game.
So my baby is the 25K and 10K mixed game tournament. We had some pro players. Actually, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. John came to me and said, "Hey, these guys want to play." John, Mr. Harden, came to me and said, "Hey, these guys want to play a 25K mixed game tournament, and we can't get it approved." And I was really intrigued by the idea. So I went to our director of poker operations, guy who will remain nameless.
Title right, wrong name.
And I argued and debated for days and weeks with him, and you finally said, "You know what? If that's what the players want, that's what we're going to do."
We'll make it happen.
Yeah. So I got with some of the top
Well,
players.
listen, I'm gonna admit this here. I was very skeptical they would have the turnout they were gonna have, and they put the legwork in, and we showed up with a great.
What's going on in this
we
hand
got
here,
a
John?
hand here. Michael opened in position, was defended, 2 straight draws. They checked the flop. Michael bet the turn with queen high. They both make it straight on the end. Unfortunately, Michael is second best once again here.
Is he going to pay off to him? Looks like the bet is $220.
Yeah.
Does he raise?
Pretty
or
good
does he
chance he's raising here.
Does he
isn't
raise or does he flat here? Right? What does he put Jared on?
I mean, either one is a very viable move. You can't give the guy.
Looks like he's
that's
raising
a
it,
raise.
yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little scaredy cat to just assume that your opponent has the nuts and flat call. It's a raise.
And looks like Jared just flat called there, right? He did not
Oh,
re-raise.
the backdoor spade draw got there.
Oh, that's what that.
There we go.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the queen jack's not the stone nuts.
yeah. But Jared did call the raise there, and he just called. Yeah, and he couldn't re-raise because of the backdoor straight draw.
Unlucky for Michael. 2 hands running.
So if you want to play in our we have a 10K on May 22nd and May 23rd. We have a 25K mixed game tournament. If you want to come out there, come on out, play the games. Again, hit us up at poker@BellagioResort.com. We can get you all the information. All the top level pros come out. And actually, Craig, you were talking about you didn't think that we were going to get the turnout that we did. You might possibly be the worst prop bettor in this room. You have lost every
over-under bet for
to
about
me,
6 months straight.
Every time you and I bet, I get free food because you end up buying me dinner.
I admittedly have lost a lot of.
However, you did win one, did you not? No, you lost the one I'm about to talk to. To Ryan LaPlante.
I lost it on the Twitter universe too.
Yes.
We had a bet with Ryan back at the 5 Diamond. He hit the over by 1.
How did that feel?
Or did he hit the under over? Anyways, he hit it
Hit
by
the
1.
under by 1. He took
came
the
in.
under.
Came in. The clock finally updated. He went crazy when when the number finally hit the stream, or hit the clock rather.
So if you want a free meal, just find Craig.
Yeah, just bet me on the props.
Take a prop bet with him.
But listen. With that being said, I don't. What did I tell you about paying the over?
You never have a problem.
Never have a problem paying the over. So if you, I'll always pay the over.
Oh, look, it's the doctor of the pharmaceutical rep in a hand. What's going on here, John?
Jared has the standard open when it folds to his button with the ace-king. It's flop squadouche. And Ahad's turn to set after
Check
checking and calling. Oh, no, Ahad just led on the flop.
And Jared's calling here with the ace-king with the 2 over card. You might think that ace-king is good. Maybe thinks that Ahad was on a diamond draw or straight draw, and they all kind of got there right now with his hand.
Yeah, any 6 diamonds are there. Ahad decides to check, and he's going to get a bluff out of Jared here.
He's going to pay this off, though, right, with the set.
I can't imagine your fold beats him into the pot almost.
It's the sets of the hand we all hate to play, though, right? Because you're either going to win a lot of money or you're losing a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to believe that somebody else has a set. And speaking of set over set, one of our regular players, guy who everybody in this program loves, Johnny Bax. A lot of you remember the World Series of Poker main event last year, set of deuces over a set of trays.
Unfortunate.
One of the great things I like about working here is that because these guys come into the room all the time, we have relationships with them. You know, and you go up to Johnny Bax and say, did you ever think about folding this hand? And he said, absolutely not in any way, shape, or form. He said his biggest problem was he didn't know if he was going to raise or fold because he had laid down some hands to the guy earlier in the tournament. And he thought maybe the guy was trying to make a play at him again. But at no point did he ever think about – because it looked like on TV that he might have truly been thinking about laying down that set there. And he said at no point was he ever thinking about laying down the set.
It's tough in tournament poker, especially late stages of the tournament, just because you're never going to be terribly deep. And, I mean, you know, even at this, where the guys are 200 big blinds effective, it's hard to get off a bottom set on a relatively clean board.
John, we got a big hand that's probably going to brew here, right? Jared raised to 60 with the ace-6.
Yeah, I folded him in the cutoff. He's opened the ace-jack, and Ron's in the $2 blind. Puts in the 3-bet. Looks like about 180.
So what does Jared do here with the ace-jack?
That's a big 3-bet. It's 260, 3-bet to 240.
Wow.
So let's see what Jared decides to do here.
He's going to call the ace-jack in position, right? Maybe he thinks that we go back to the I know what you know what I know thing, where maybe he thinks that Ron thinks that Jared was raising in the cutoff lead. Here's an interesting hand because now Jared needs a queen or an ace, but Ron has 2 of his queen outs, and he's going to check here.
Check through the flop.
You think Jared could have won that hand if he bet there representing ace-king?
That's possible.
Or king-queen or a hand like that? Hand that he would probably more than most people, you think you would call in that in position with?
It's that interesting spot where you know, if you 3-bet, get that flop, and fold 2 queens to 1 bet, you might be folding too many hands and letting your opponents take.
Craig, what's going on in
advantage
the chat right there?
I want to give a shout out to 3 aces on board, and I'm proud when someone says this in the chat. Bellagio has some good dealers, and I completely agree. We got some of the best in the world, and it's nice to see them recognized. We got Nathan in the box. Janet's helping us out tonight, and you've probably seen both of them. Nathan, you saw on the stream last week. Janet, you've seen on a lot of WPT events and other televised events. So, yes, 3 aces on board, thank you. We do have some of the best dealers in the world.
And
so.
dealers don't get acknowledged enough. Look, people think the job's easy, and then they come in here.
Try it.
Yeah. I'll tell you a story once. We have auditions here at the Bellagio twice a year where they hire new dealers. We had a guy who was a regular player here, thought he could be a dealer, came in an audition. He came to me afterward and he was like, that's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. He said,
just the audition?
Yeah, just the audition. He only dealt 2 hands.
Wait till you're doing 1 in 2,000 mixed games in Bobby's room.
Yeah, and
or bigger.
Yeah, and you have those great personalities.
Right.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and our dealers do a great job with that. Yeah, we have some, like you said, we have some of the best dealers in the world.
So 3 aces on board. Thank you for the comment. We do appreciate that.
John, what's going on in this hand here?
Interesting bet on the river by Ron after he bets 300, gets called on the turn. He bets 480 into about 1,000 on this river, and I think this is a spot. Maybe this is the blocking bet where you're willing to bet 480 and get called, but you don't want to have to check and call off like 700. But it's going to get the job done. It's just It's an interesting bet from Ron there. Nice answer.
It's the old school blocker bet. That's what we
Yeah.
used to call that, right?
Yeah.
Again, my name is Dallas Scott. I'm your host. And my co-host, Mr. John Harden, the director of poker operations as well as the sports and race book. Mr. Craig Lump is with us today.
He switches the order every time. You notice that?
Race and
You know,
sport.
at this point, he might be doing it intentionally.
I think so too.
At this point, I might just be a fool and not know what I'm talking about.
Natarash123, how you doing?
All right. Again, if you want to play on the stream, come on out to Vegas. Hit us up, poker at BellagioResort.com. Tell us when you're coming out. Tell us why you should be on the stream.
And we got two guys. We've had a lot of Bellagio regulars that want to get on the stream here, but we've got two guys on the stream here that sent us an email that are out here for a conference that got a chance to play on.
It's
Twitch.
weird because they're like out here for the same
conference,
right?
yeah.
And they both got bored with the conference and were like, this isn't very much fun.
Yeah.
Looks like Gary's picked up aces here, John.
He's under the gun and has opened it up for $40. We'll see what happens.
That was an endorsement.
This game so far has been pretty snug pre-flop. There's not a whole lot of wide defense, and Gary's just going to pick up the aforementioned
Pick up the blinds.
gallon of gas candy bar.
But it's not the king size candy bar because that's like $3.50 by itself. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, there's the sliding scale of candy bar cost. You've got the Toblerone. You've got the. All right, I'm out of my
I think
way.
I think you're getting a little too technical here.
All right, and again, we always have great events coming on. Canelo Chavez is coming. Chavez
Big
is
fight
doing-
weekend next.
It is huge.
coming
fight
up.
week. It's actually this weekend, right? May 6th.
Yep.
I am all over Chavez in this fight. I don't know why, and people tell me I'm crazy, but A, he's getting a great price, and if you want to know what the price is, just go to the Play MGM app. You can bet as long as you're in, what do you call it, the geospace, Craig? Geolocated.
What's that?
You
You're
play-
correct.
Yeah.
If you're
Geolocated.
geolocated within the state of Nevada, you can place bets on the
Play MGM
MGM app after you've signed up here at the sportsbook.
John, what's going on the chat feed there?
Sean Mack just showed up. To
Sean
make an
McCormick,
appearance.
What's up,
director
Sean?
of poker
You want to
operations.
punt his job title too?
Yes. I don't even. Does he have the racing sports book at Aria? No. So he's the director of poker operations over at Aria. But we all know that the poker room manager, Mike Williams, actually makes all the decisions. Let's just be real.
Hey, you're going to get him banned from the chat. He's about to blow it up.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, John and I have known Mike Williams for probably 15 years. Great friend of ours. They do an amazing job at Aria. They have a huge tournament coming up this summer with the WPT. A lot of great things going over there.
Sure.
So,
And be sure to check out the High Roller series. Our friends at Poker Central posted it
Yes.
yesterday. They're having all the high rollers over there, and then a couple over here. But a lot of stuff going on. Everybody getting ready for the summer, which is the most exciting time of the year.
and
for the
honestly, they
operator.
have the two best daily tournaments in all of Las Vegas. Monday through Thursday, they run a $125 tournament at 1 o'clock and a $125 at 7. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's 11 a.m. 240 tournament. Great fields. First prize in that tournament is always over $6,000 or $7,000.
that's great.
You're coming out to town. Who doesn't want to win $6,000 or $7,000?
they've done a great
They're
job.
one-day tournaments, so you just get them over with. They do a great job with the tournaments over there. Shout out to their tournament director Paul and the staff over there. Amazing job. John, what's going on here in the town?
We've got a open kind of early from Ryan with the suited ace. Ron next seat over, just flats with the ace king, and then
Call.
Michael wakes up in
Ronnie, call.
the small blind with the 2 jacks, puts in the 3-bet to 100.
John, I'm curious what Ace King's going to do here. I mean, all options are available, really.
Absolutely correct.
And there's a lot of varieties of ways to play ace king, right? Because
Yeah.
some people flat like Ron did, because they don't want to put a lot of chips in with the hand because they want to be able to get rid of it.
So he
Pot
makes a
control.
call.
In addition to that, Ron's in position on this hand and figures he can just take a flop. Or he might just be thinking, man, this Michael kid's running so bad.
He's like, I already got $2,000.
Oh, he's
shaking the cup.
He checked the reload.
Do I
cup.
have enough reload cups in here just in case he's got the?
So, John, how much does the first hand they played together weigh into Michael's decisions as he's playing through this hand?
I honestly would say very little.
I
think
agree. Michael's a consummate professional. He's not hung up on what happened before, right? He loses the pot.
He's just over it. Here we go.
yeah,
Let's
you
play.
lose the
We'll play
pot,
on.
you get to the next hand.
He's,
But-
he's not going to steam it off,
And the other thing is that Mike and Ron have played probably 100,000 hands of poker against each other live before, so they know each other very well.
Yeah.
They're both constantly like figures in the 5, 10, 10, 20, no limit games.
After the 3-bet here, Michael led the flop for 220, got called. Board pair turn, and it goes check, check. Ace on the race.
On the river.
And Michael let him get there with the ace by checking on the turn.
Yeah.
He knew he had the best hand when Ron checked back, right? Now he doesn't know what's going on and where he's at here in the hand, right?
This is a rough run out.
And it's a diamond. I don't know that Mike would put Ron on a diamond here with the runner draw, and he flatted the bet on the flop. We'll see what happens here. It's a tough spot for Mike. He's going to check.
Ron's got a bet here, right?
Well, maybe, but they know each other enough to know that if Mike had flopped a set of 10s, would he have, or a set of 5s here, would he have the setup to check back to him and hope that he caught the ace or the flush draw?
I mean, that's going to require Mike to have checked twice with the 10s and then the 10s full.
Couldn't he easily be putting him on a worse ace here?
Absolutely.
Yeah, can Mike call now? The ace got there. What does he put him on in this hand with the way the hand played out? The raise pre-flop, the flat. He flatted a raise, then re-flatted when Mike re-raised, 3-bet the flop. Ron flatted it there. Mike leads out on the flop for a half pot sized bet, and he gets called. Good fold by Mike.
Yeah, Mike lays it down.
Yeah. He's thinking I already lost 2 big pots with monster hands. I'm just going to get this one on.
I mean, there's not a whole lot that on that river Michael beats.
No,
unless the guy just decides to turn 2 8s, 2 9s, something like that into a bluff there.
But then, but can Ron bluff that with the ace on the river, thinking that maybe Mike,
absolutely,
checked the had a hand like ace queen or ace queen and continuation bet the flop?
Yeah. I don't know. There's going to be some dispute about long term if folding 2 jacks in that spot is the best thing to do. But in this situation, he was right.
He's 100% right.
Now, is the 7-deuce game on? This will be where we find out. I guess not. A disciplined fold under the gun.
Well, that's why Ryan LaPlante is one of the best in the world. I had an interesting conversation with Ryan before the tournament, or before the table started tonight. Ryan just recently played his first $25K buy-in tournament.
Really?
Yeah. He said it was a unique and interesting experience. Those are his words. But he felt like for the way he likes to play poker, he really prefers the $1,500 and $2,000 kind of events. He felt like it was they're less stressful, more fun, and it makes the day go by smoother and faster. It's like, when you're playing against the top players in the world and you, for $25,000 buy-in, it gets a little tighter. You know what I mean? The mind starts working a little more, and it's not quite as peaceful and fun as playing some of the smaller events.
I mean, I can only describe that as real work.
Right.
Playing one of those tournaments.
Yeah.
Not that I would have any earthly idea, but that's my feel. We've got a 3-bet from Gary in the blinds after an open and a call from pocket 4s and pocket 5s. Gary's made it 150 with the ace-jack offsuit. And it looks like he's going to get called twice.
They're both flop setting or set flop mining here.
Yeah. 3 ways to a flop. Gary in position. No, Gary out of position. Excuse me, with the ace-jack.
Oh boy!
And it's set over.
Set over set
here
again.
At the Bellagio.
Wow.
If we keep this up, we might not be able to get many more players if they're just going to get crushed with bottom set here. It's got to be good sometimes.
No, wow.
Good grief. Gary does not put a continuation bet into the two callers here.
Gary's a very shrewd player. He's not. He knows when to give up in the hand here.
Ron leads right out with his set here, betting 200.
There's no flush draw on this board. It's kind of dry. You don't think somebody's calling with a 5-6 or a deuce 3 or a 6-7 or a deuce 3 here?
Greek physics says, "Is this Poker Stars?"
Now, I don't know if you guys noticed earlier, but there's been a couple pots that Ron has opened pre-flop that Ahad has 3-bet him and just picked it up. I don't know if that's going to play into consideration here. Ron bets and Ahad raises to 540. Gary obviously gets out of the way with the ace high. This is another spot where Ron's got to be pretty confident he's got the best hand. I think I think both of them think they have the best hand here. Heads up to a turn and a little bit of a scare card. A wonky straight draw gets there, but we're putting 540 in on the
check.
turn.
Wow.
And backdoor spade draw gets there.
And the 6-7 gets there, so this might slow down some action. I really thought Ron was going to give all the chips that he got from Mike set over set to Ahad here. But it looks like the board run out kind of slowed them down. I'm really surprised they both checked
I don't. I think Ron still
You
thinks he
can
has the best
you,
hand.
you,
here.
you
He's
could
gonna
be
lead out.
checking in that spot in either seat to be disguising
Right.
the set.
And maybe Ron was planning on check raising because he thought Ahad would
Very
raise
possible.
bet again.
Ron's going to lead in again.
And Ahad's going to pay this off. Right,
920 looks like just a call. Ho hum, $2,500 pot set over set once again.
Ron's just
Can't believe it.
look at Ron laugh there. What goes around comes around. He's like, yeah, I win a nice pot set over set. Now I'm losing a nice pot set over set. Man, we couldn't have. This is great action, man. We couldn't have planned this any better.
Yeah.
Is that,
when Ron leads out there and just gets called by a hot, I think the way he does his hand, I think for sure he thought he had the best.
Yeah,
hand.
you got to know that the 3-4s there is good.
and the check,
Apparently only 99% of the time.
and maybe the
Ron
check
got
back
off
by
cheap.
Ahad.
I agree with the doctor. Ron got off pretty cheap.
He
by,
did.
No razor.
The check on the turn.
Chris Rock is coming to the park. Apparently, Vegas is the comedy hotbed now because Dave Chappelle was here a week and a half ago. If you've never seen Dave Chappelle live, next time he comes to Vegas, you have to go. He's 10 times better live than he was on the Dave Chappelle show. He's amazing. I'm a big Dave Chappelle fan. I know a lot of people out there are. A lot of poker players really love Dave Chappelle. Chris Rock is coming to the Park Theater in June. You can get your tickets on Ticketmaster or Google search the Park Theater. John, what's going on the chat?
Nothing I can comment on, but it is a little funny.
All righty then. We got a hand here, John. What's going on? Ryan is he's
Raise
gonna
and
fold.
take it.
Yeah, raise and take it from Michael. The Queen 6.
Well, you know, if the set doesn't work, if the second nut straight, third nut straight doesn't work, just open it up with the Queen 6. What's the worst
Here's
that
a
could
true
possibly
story
happen?
about the Queen 6. The Queen 6 is actually a named hand. It's called the Grizz, right? And if you Google the Grizz, there's a whole Wikipedia page on this Queen 6 being a hand. The gentleman that the hand is named after is actually sitting in our 4A game right now.
Really?
Yeah. The Grizz, he's from Montana, has a little poker room up there, came down to have a little vacation here in Vegas with his wife. And he actually played the hand the other night in the game, called me over. He's like, see, I never lose with this hand, except for the 3 houses, he said. He said he loses about 3 houses with the hand. But he still plays it like it's aces.
Could it be because he's
I
playing
think it's
Queen 6?
Exactly. Yeah, so no, yeah. If you Google the Grizz poker hand, it'll show you the Queen 6. And the guy who was named after plays here in Bellagio. I think we need to have a Bellagio hand. What could, like 7 deuce or Jack 8 of hearts?
Bottom set.
It's going that way.
Michael's opened another one here.
Hey,
Jack eight of
Jimmy
hearts.
Buckets, thank you. We appreciate the comment. We're excited with this project. It's been a long time coming for us. This is our second stream. We couldn't be more excited to be here on Twitch and Bellagio Pots, so check us out.
Craig, who enjoys his title of Director of Poker Operations, it did take you 2 years to get this.
It was 2 years. This was not a simple project. We had to first figure out what we were going to do conceptually, see if it was possible, see if we could turn my office into a production studio, which we have done.
We got to give a shout out to Matt and Jason, who are our controllers.
producers, yep.
Everything you see on the screen is because of them. It makes our job a lot easier.
I've really seen a team come together to make this happen.
So and all the dealers that come through and the floor staff.
So thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it takes us a lot of work actually to get this in every week.
A couple questions in the chat. First one is, what's the deal with the plastic cups?
The plastic cups. We're gonna call they're the reload cups. The max buy in this game time was $2,000, but you know that you may take some losses and stuff. We let you put.
We hope you don't, but you gotta. It happens.
And sometimes you just end up with hands like set over set, once or twice a night. So the reload cups are where people put their chips in. So like if they need to pull out some more chips, they just pull them out. The chips are not in play until they come out of the cup. See, Mike's counting his cup right now. He's like, I might need some more chips in here right now. This night has not gone straight over straight, set over set. Yeah, see,
Mike,
hey.
Mike, the waitress can't refill that cup. Sorry. He looks like he's calling for cocktails.
One more question on the chat. Craig, this one might be a good one for you. Is the 10K Bellagio Cup a free thing?
No, so Bellagio Cup re-entry tournament, 3 days of entry. We give you an extra day to get in because a lot of people still in the main event over there. This is the one event you're allowed to miss as long as you're making a deep run in the main.
And just to clarify, we do not have 3 day ones. We do not have 3-day ones. You can just register for the first 3 days. So there was a little misconception about that last year. So it's not 3-day ones. It's 3 days of being
Sure, you
able
can
to
get in
buy.
day 3 and once the tournament's in progress.
And the blinds are still like relatively. Where are we at day 3 with the end of the registration period? I believe the blinds are 52 and 4 at that point. So you can still play comfortably with the regular starting stuff. What's going on in the hand here, John?
Looks like another raise and take it. Ho ho. We got a little bit of a lull in the action here.
A couple things that we need to remind you of. The Play MGM app, come on out. If you're geo-located in the state of Nevada, you can make all your sports wagering and bets there. And, of course, make sure you get your M Live card so you can earn your comps and your credits. We do have poker room rates called Colette and Penny in our poker room. You can follow us on Twitter at Bellagio Poker. You can follow me, Dallas Scott, at Dallas Scott 73. John Hardy's a great Hardini.
You can send a postcard to Craig.
Yes.
You know, I think he's got a water wheel powered computer somewhere, but doesn't believe in this Twitter
Doesn't
thing.
believe in the Twitter
But
thing.
and this week, though, we just added YouTube. Am I correct? We have a Bellagio Pots YouTube
Yeah,
channel.
check out. We put up the archives of the stream, so you can check them out later. We cut down some of the highlights from last week. I'm sure we'll do the same again this week. We've already had some big hands. The setter was set last week. We had some action with the 7 deuce, so we'll put those up. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, and we will.
All right, John, where are we at in this hand here?
Gary's open. This is an interesting one. He opened the king queen and it folded to Jarrett in the cutoff, who basically min 3-betted. It was an open for 40 and a 3-bet to 90. Off to a flop with king deuce deuce heads up. Gary out of position with top pair.
He's going to check to Jared. Jared's going to bet here. It looks like Jared bets 125 into $180 pot.
Small ball kind of poker here.
Does Gary think King Queen's good here? Does he? He's not going to put Jared on ace.
It's a tough hand to play to a 3-bet, but if you're gonna take a flop to a 3-bet with king queen and get the king deuce deuce, obviously you have to continue.
All right, let's see the turn.
Check and a
Still
call.
not gonna fold a set to you at any
Off to
point.
the turn.
Even if the
The
board
Jack
is
might slow him down. Maybe they
9,
make
10,
Jared raise there with the King Jack after a continuation bet. King Jack, Ace King.
all spades.
We'll see how the hand plays out here.
Gary's hand's pretty well disguised. Excuse me.
It is despised also. People hate losing.
Yeah.
When the King Queen beats the Ace King, it's very well despised.
Check here. Now Gary's got a couple options here. He can try and bet for value if he thinks Jarrett's got a hand, or he can try and see if he can get a bluff out of Jarrett.
Gary just checked there, right?
He did.
Yep. So what's Jared think? Jared might think ace high is good.
Jarrett
right?
has fired a couple river bluffs so far with ace high. Done it again here. He's bet
We're allowed to
275
leave the
into
table.
about 500.
What's Gary thinking here? Like, can he raise? Does he think King Queen's the best hand here? What is he putting Jared on that Jared could check behind on the turn and then bet the river?
I mean, any option other than calling here is tough. But I mean, there's some merit to putting in a check raise here. I can't imagine he's ever going to fold the top pair though.
And Jared is our wild card player. Like he sent us an email at poker@BellagioResort.com to get on the stream. Gary doesn't know Jared. He's never played with him before. Unlike some of the other players at the table, like Jared and Michael. I mean, Gary and Michael, Gary and Ron, Gary and Ryan LaPlante. They've all played hands before, so they have some type of perspective on how the other person's playing. He has no idea where Jared is at in his hand. Is he thinking that maybe Jared, like continuation bet, maybe jacks, and then caught his jack on the turn or something?
That's what I'm saying. It's not a
Don't know.
Not looking good.
Oh, wow, he's up $1,000.
All right.
This is a long decision for Gary here.
You think the fact that he just got married and his wife might be watching the stream has an effect on how he's playing his hand right now?
Maybe. I don't know who paid for the wedding, but that might have something to do with it.
Maybe he needs to continue paying for the wedding, so that might have something to do with it. Seems like a tough decision for Gary. I can't see him laying down the hand.
Now, there's an old acronym called MUBSY, Monsters Under the Bed. And that might be the spot that Gary is in here where, he's trying to find a way for an unlikely hand to be in the 9 seed here that he can't beat with the king-queen. Long decision.
They gotta lose a couple more pots. Wait, I can put the ones in play.
Are the blue chips your cap fare or what's that?
No, I can put the
Dollar
ones.
chips in the reload cup.
No, I still need to make it look like I have
I
chips.
don't think I've seen Gary tank this long for a long, long time. Yeah, like
It looks like
now he's talking to Jared, seeing if he's gonna get some information.
Call. And a
He
winner.
did call. He called him.
Yeah. I think he might have just out-leveled himself there.
Right.
You know.
Well, nice pot by Gary. Always seems to pick up the nice pots too. He has a very nice way of it.
painkiller, man. I'm in
Straight Floosh says, got to balance that tank call range.
Oh, look at that. Jared went into the reload cup. So, again, we have the plastic cups on the table. If you're coming out to play the stream, please feel free to bring your own reload cup. Just keep it appropriate.
I want to see someone come with a custom cup. I mean, we haven't seen it yet, but I think it's maybe week 3 or 4.
And
We'll
again,
see someone show up with their own cup.
Mike said he was going to bring his today. He just wasn't sure that he was actually going to make the stream, so he forgot it at home.
All right, we'll get him. If he's going to bring his cup, we'll get him back
Back
on,
the
right?
stream, yeah. And, of course, we're going to convince Craig to do that. Get us some personalized Bellagio reload cups. Craig, so, like, I'm going to put you on the spot right here, okay? We have these 25K high rollers that we do at the end of the summer.
Yep.
During the Bellagio Cup.
Before the Bellagio Cup.
Excuse me, right before the Bellagio Cup.
31st and 1st of July.
Yep. They are extremely popular. How come we don't run a satellite for those events?
You know, that's funny. That's a good question. We've had a lot of people asking. We have, and we'll certainly run one if we have the opportunity to. We haven't yet got one off the ground for a high roller event. It's funny. I think kind of what you're seeing change in poker is that people aren't as interested in satellite because people are selling and they got backers and whatnot. But for an event that high, there's the people that buy in, and that seems to be it. So it's a good question, Dallas. We'd be happy to do it. We'd love to do it if we had the interest, but we haven't yet quite garnered enough interest to make a satellite happen for the high roller. But
I say $50.
So
then it's your question.
you brought up backers, which is a kind of an interesting
Are we in? Good as hand?
take in poker. Some people love backers, some people don't. I actually had a conversation with Ryan LaPlante prior to the night's game, and Ryan actually he had 12 cashes last year in the WSOP, and he still has a backer. He's very open about the fact that he has a backer.
It's not a coincidence either. You know, I
He said it makes the game a
As
lot more.
do almost every player. these
Every
days,
pro,
it
right.
seems like.
And he says that it makes. I asked him, I was like, well, you had all the success last year. Do you ever think about coming off the backer and playing on your own? And he says the game gets uncomfortable that way because he can minimize his losses, and there are big swings in poker. We all know this. He says the swing, he can handle the swings better. If he was on his own bankroll, he wouldn't do it. But we also talked about the fact that in tournament, we talked about Fedor. I was saying that in my opinion,
Who's still on fire.
I made the comment that if I had to bet $1 million on one player to win a tournament, I would take Jason Mercier. Ryan says that he would take Fedor because he might be the luckiest player in the entire world. Because there's actually a video on YouTube that shows like all the Fedor's wins, and it's like 12 minutes long, and Fedor never lost a flip in the entire thing.
It's just either come from behind or win the 52-48 over and over
Right,
again.
and he does it all the time. But he also talked about the fact that Fedor is making a lot of money because he is backing a lot of the guys who end up like second and third in some of these tournaments. So he's getting, so he's like, ROI should be on those 25K, 100K better tournaments about 10%. And Fedor's at like 500% because he's backing people and because he has his collective and they work together at learning how to play the game and discussing hand strengths, that his collective is very strong and he's making a lot more money like that. And then we also talked about like the fact in major tournaments, should it be known when people have pieces of each other? And Ryan,
In a perfect world, maybe, but how could you ever?
That's the
relate
problem.
that? I mean, that's
How do you, as
I
a
don't
poker,
think fundamentally anyone disagrees that would be great information, but then how
as a
does that get out
director,
there?
right? As a director of poker operations, Craig, can it be regulated? Can you?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any way.
that's
I
what
really
I mean.
don't. I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah. And
It's kind of like enforcing rules in golf. There's the honor system side of it. There's no way you're going to know about every single deal that's made. If the community collectively feels it's something that needs to be completely open, it's going to be on them to police it themselves. That's how I feel.
It is tough, but and one of the things that Ryan was talking about is like, if you're at a final table with somebody and you got 50% of them, are you willing to flip with them? You know, especially if maybe you're 3 or 4 players and they're the short stack, and you have the. Do you want to eliminate the person that you have 50% of, or 25% of, and cost them a pay jump, which includes making you more money?
I mean, the purest argument's going to be if it affects a pure tournament situation, then it's not good. We got an interesting little hand here. Fold to Ahad, he opens. Robert right next to him with the ace-queen just calls. They check the king-deuce-deuce flop. Excuse me, they did not check. It was a bet, and Robert peels a turn card with ace-queen high, and they both make aces here.
And the board is playing the king kicker.
Yeah, Ahad has gone bet here.
I actually saw a guy last night in one of our 5-10 games. He had to rebuy for the 1500, and then the very first hand he plays, he actually misreads his hand and doesn't realize that the board is paired and his kicker, neither kicker plays.
Yeah.
And he throws away a $3,000 pot.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
Because he thought he missed his flush draw and didn't think his ace was good enough. He thought the other guy had a better kicker when he showed his hand. Ace 10 versus ace 8 on a ace deuce deuce tray king board, which is actually the same board we have here. Yeah.
Ahad checks after betting flop, betting turn. Robert's
I think it's going to go bet call. We're going
Right,
to chop it up.
he's going to chop it up. Right.
I don't think he's. I mean, just based on the actions go, I don't think
it's hard to get to this river with
there we go.
top pair
Chop
and
it up,
not
boys.
get there.
Oh, I knew we could chop it.
Take it back. Moving on.
Again, one of everybody's
Plus
favorite
9?
hands.
Plus 8. All that work for nothing.
Chop
Not
up the
nothing.
blinds.
$9.
$9?
I put $7 worth of gas in my car today. I'm just saying, like
What's,
$9.
What's the second tier option of the candy bar I was talking about earlier? That's what I got to figure
I
out.
think at that $9 you go to cupcakes.
Ooh.
Snowballs or.
Oh,
Ho-Hos,
okay.
Ho-Hos.
The Hostess
Yeah.
chocolate pie,
Yeah,
maybe?
there you go. Yeah, for sure.
I, for one, am very happy that Hostess didn't go under permanently. I couldn't go on in this life without a Twinkie.
See, I like the chocolate Twinkie.
You know, little piece of annoying trivia. World War II vanilla extract was difficult to come by and was still in short supply after. And that is the origin of the original Twinkie, which is the banana cream flavored
Correct.
Twinkie.
Right.
And it's all because of wartime
How many
shortage.
sets do you flop
Obviously,
with
it
that
didn't
with 7
stick.
deuces?
Boy, I tell you what, there's sometimes we derail this conversation and we've gotten a little bit off topic here. I mean, I blacked out for a second. I don't know where we're at. I'm hungry now, but I mean.
All right, again, you're watching Bellagio Potts Poker on the Strip. I'm your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host is Mr. John Harden, and our Director of Poker Operations in the Race and Sports Book is Mr. Craig Lump.
We got Brian in the tank here in the small blind. It's got an open from a suited ace, a call. Excuse me, an open from the 5-4 suited, a call from the suited ace. Brian decides just to call with the 2 10s out of the $2 small blind. He's going to be first to act. Well, wait a minute.
Can we get set over set somehow in this hand? I'm just looking.
We got a 5-way flop.
One of the 10s is gone here. Michael and Ahad both share a 4.
We've got a
there's
possible
2 diamond
flush
draws.
over flush.
I
Here
was
we
gonna
go.
Oh, wow,
This
look at
is
this.
an
2
interesting
flush
one.
draws and top pair with the queen. This is going to be interesting.
This is an interesting pot. Ahad opens 5 ways. He might just lead here with the diamond draw if it checks to him. Top pair is going to get bet by Jarrett here into 4 runners.
And he's going to get called by 3 of them, right?
Don't know.
And Brian's probably the one person who's going to fold here, right? There's 2 overcards on the board. It's going to be, by the time it gets to him, it should be bet and called. Is Ryan going to raise here and just try and pick up the pot, or just flat? He looks like he's just going to flat here.
Just flats 120.
Dallas, you think he's going to get 2 callers here, right?
I think he's going to get Jared's bet. Ryan's going to call. Ahad's going to call. Michael and
Raise.
Brian.
Oh, raise from Ahad.
Ahad was the pre-flop raiser in this pot, so he's going to continue trying to take the initiative.
Yeah, Brian's done with his
Also,
10s.
I'm also
he didn't need to, but he succeeds in winning the button with that raise there.
Jared's going to call. I don't know why, but I feel like there's going to be a straight card on the turn for Ahad where he's going to pick up a straight draw, flush draw. Because this always seems to happen when I have the big flush draw to me. So, like, Is Ryan putting one of them on an ace high flush draw with the bet and the raise and the call?
It's a plausible hand for the guy that raised pre-flop to have the the ace jack of diamonds would be perfect here.
Ace jacket for surely you put some chips in with ace middle pair.
This
top
is.
kicker.
I mean, if Ryan thinks his flush draw is good here, I mean, he's clearly getting a very good price. Yeah.
Well,
looks like Ryan's just
if you're
going
to continue with the king high flush draw, if you get there, shame on you for folding, I guess. Interesting other thing here is that Jarrett with top pair only has about a third of the pot remaining, blank on the turn.
Adds a straight draw for a hod though if the 6 comes off.
Jarrett's got about Jarrett's got about 1,500, about 1,200.
Oh, our graphic is incorrect here.
No.
He's got 1,300 plus. Beg your pardon.
Yeah. We'll have to get on Matt about those graphics sometime.
Well, you can't keep track of everybody.
And look at that. I was actually right. It did give a hod some type of straight draw.
Oh, Jared announces all in.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's made about a pot-sized bet here of
Ryan might be able to get away with his
1,500.
hand, but does a hod get away from the hand because he's got the flush draw, straight draw?
Well, here's the question: did he fly to Vegas to fold?
No, he flew to Vegas to go to a convention that was boring.
Yeah, he said he told us before the show he caught about 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, he's like, I couldn't take it anymore.
I'd rather be playing poker at Bellagio.
Came over, played the 8160 mixed game all
last
night. Left about 8 o'clock in the morning. It's like 12.
Our graphics a little off there. So what we got there? About 14?
14 and a half.
Yeah, it's
like
about a
that.
pot-sized bet, ballpark at 1,500. There we go. Adjusted.
So here's the deal, though.
1,600 is the all-in.
You got 9 outs.
If Jarrett loses the hand, does a hot have to buy some pharmaceutical products from him as the doctor? And Jarrett, does he have to
I think there's regulations against those things
Oh,
now. Yeah.
okay. So that's probably. It's a tough hand for a hot. It's a tough hand to get away from, right? If you have the flush draw, straight draws, are one of those hands that you have a lot of outs. Unless he's got the ace high flush draw, you're probably not drawing dead here in his hand.
Oh, no, never mind. It's the same.
Well, he only has a 4. I'm sorry, I forgot that Ryan had the king high, so he's got a 5 high flush draw here.
You're gonna
Does he think that Jared might play that hand like that with a bigger flush draw? Looks like he's counting out chips like he wants to call.
I think he's coming. I'm betting that he's coming.
Are we prop betting on this for dinner? This might be the
Why
one.
not? I'll lose again.
As you can see at the top of the screen, Hod does have a lot of outs here. He's got 9 outs.
He's 3-to-1 dog, getting 2-to-1 on his money.
And maybe he wishes Ryan would have called.
No, he's getting. Yeah, he's getting 2-to-1 on his money.
He's gonna
folded.
Oh, see,
Did I lose again?
you would have lost.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
you did. I'll take a double hamburger from Snacks.
You got it.
Hold the pickle or add pickle, no tomato, no onion.
You got it.
Well played
little
hand
pot
by
for Jared.
Jared.
It was actually a very well played hand for Jared. He did not give them a chance to draw out on him on the turn by checking it. He probably thought his queen was good, and maybe he thought if he could get somebody to lay off a king queen or an ace queen there, representing a 2-pair hand like queen jack or something. You think, John?
Yeah, and I mean, it was a perfect situation where he got to call with one player behind. He got to take a turn card with almost exactly a pot-sized bet left behind, and the turn comes off clean, and he just rips it.
Train is coming to the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Going to be here May 12th, which is next weekend. Come on out, watch Train. Come on over to the Bellagio, play a little poker. Or you can just stay at the MGM and play poker in their room. They got a great room over there. They play a lot of 1, 3, 2, 5 games over there. I heard they had a killer 3-6 limit game last night that was insane.
I got 2 orbits into that game before they all quit me.
How stuck were you?
How stuck were you?
Well,
Rack or two,
I
John?
really tried to torture. My wife was in the game. She was in the game for an unacceptable amount, and I sat down with $60, hoping that I could just, win the first 3 pots I play, have 300 in front of me, and turn to her and say, "See, it's easy for me. What's your problem?" Unfortunately, it did not work.
Didn't work out that way.
And it's probably better for you it didn't, because I know your wife and you would have slept with the dogs last night.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, we got-
Sometimes that happens anyway.
Ryan's woke up with a hand here, John. What's going on? He's in the. Is he in the straddle or the big blind here?
He's in the
$5
the $5 middle blind. It's gone an open from Michael when it folded to him with the Queen 8 of diamonds, a flat on the button of 2 7s, and now we've got a 3-bet to a mystery amount, 160 from Ryan. out of the $5 blind.
And Brian calls here, or hasn't called yet. He's
No, back to Brian.
He's got position with the pair. He could call here. He could 3-bet thinking, it's back. We're back to the old, I know what you know what I know. Are they leveling each other thinking? Is Ryan thinking, well, Ryan's thinking he's got kings, but is Brian thinking that Ryan raised him, thinking that he was only raising in position?
It's very possible. Looks a little squeezy. He could just be trying to figure out if Ryan's got enough left in front of him to go set mining. It looks like we're going to be heads up to a flop here for $160. Slopekind says another set over set.
Oh,
If this is the trifecta, I might have to quit.
it's the whiffecta.
That's a potentially dangerous flop for the 2-7s. The old play super tight, no set, no bet. These are the kind of flops where the board pairs and there's only one big card where you might talk yourself into your opponent.
Because sevens
having
could be
ace
very
king,
well good here.
and
Ace
sevens
king,
be
ace jack,
good.
ace 10, because he's re-raising you out of the big blind
Yeah.
when you raise on the button. 100% that Brian might think the 2-7s are good here. And the question is, does he raise or just flat here? Looks like he's just going to flat.
Yeah, it's 108, relatively small bet of $180 after there was $300 and almost $400 in the pot on the flop.
Oh, I thought that was a 7 for a
Another
second.
blank on
Brian
the
makes
turn. But this is a sketchy board for the 2-7s.
It is, and let's be honest, we really don't like to put our opponents on kings, right?
Yeah.
Especially when they're re-raising you out of the big blind.
He
There's
doesn't
no
want
better
to.
feeling than picking off the bluff. Let's
Right,
be
right.
honest.
I'm digging the hat, Ryan. Even though I thought I wasn't a big fan of the movie, I do like the logo for the Superman versus Batman. My son is probably going crazy right now.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little disappointed he didn't wear the hat that he won in the prop bet during the 5 diamond
Well,
that we
Ryan-
gave him. Pictures on Twitter if you go
But
look us up.
isn't that kind of like going to the Leonard Skinner concert with the Leonard Skinner T-shirt?
I don't think so. I don't feel like it's wearing the concert T-shirt here. I think that it's, I thought he would.
Well,
Wear his
Ryan-
hat. I'm a little hurt. I'm a little hurt. Not gonna lie.
Ryan will be back next week, right? So maybe he'll wear the hat next week.
I think we're gonna make him if he wants his seat back.
Oh, did Ryan go all in?
Wow.
Tough spot for Brian.
It's a little bit of an overbet.
Yeah, really, it's
I
a tough spot
believe.
for Brian. And the overbet might make it look like a bluff here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would very easily play ace-king, ace-jack the same way.
Right. This is it's one of these weird spots that we see a lot of poker players get into, and this is what really kind of makes a difference between good poker players and great poker players, right? Is being able to get away from hands like this.
Yeah,
John?
absolutely. And here's the thing: a lot of the safest way to play the 2-7s in this spot is just tell yourself before the flop comes off, if there's no 7, I'm not going to put another chip into the pot. And obviously, you're giving some money away long term with a strategy like that, but it keeps you from a really tough multi-street, set of decisions.
Well, and like
on
I,
a board
I
like
said
this.
that the difference between good and great is being able to get away from this hand.
Yeah.
But I also got to say, there's a point where good and great is knowing when they are good, because probably 7s are good in this spot. 50% of the time, would you think that your opponent might have a flush draw there or whiff the flop and is just firing, trying to represent ace queen or something like that?
You think about all the hands that Ryan could have here that he rebet pre-flop
yeah.
and then just decided not to give up with. It's any ace-high spade. It's almost any pair, you would think.
Right. He
That-
could just as well have 6 or 7s here. He could have turned to 5. Obviously, we can see that Ryan has the best hand, but it doesn't necessarily. Again, probably 50% of the time, 7s are the best hand here, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's
Brian's,
guys that
Brian's
are
looking for a way to make the call
Absolutely.
here.
He does.
Wants to think he has the best hand.
There's a lot of guys that'll break down the range of hands in this spot that you could possibly have and what percentage of them you beat. But I mean, there are a ton of hands that 7s are beating on the turn right now that he could have definitely done this with. River card's another matter.
I don't think this is as easy a fold as we think it is.
No, this is a tough decision.
But I'm
See,
betting,
and-
I'm betting Brian folds.
Brian's talking to Ryan right now. He's trying to get something out of it. Ryan is a consummate professional. He plays a lot of poker. He doesn't really give up a lot. And he has a reputation, too. Do you think all of that, knowing all of that, plays into Brian's decision here, John?
I'm sorry, you're going to have to rephrase.
I was going to say, because people don't understand the head nod. with Ryan's reputation, knowing that he's one of the top tournament players in the world, and there's a lot of videos and stuff out there of how he's played hands. Do you think that that affects how Brian is playing this hand now, from what he knows about Ryan?
Dallas, you might be right. I don't know. I mean, it looks like he is
Yeah, he's letting it go.
slowly surrendering.
He doesn't want to.
Is that a fold?
Yeah, he folded already.
Yeah.
That is a fold.
And Ryan does the show the one king.
You know, obviously, a player that's capable of bluffing multiple streets there, Ryan is one of them. And so you have to take that into consideration. Unfortunately, it makes you probably more likely to lose a big pot than less likely, being up against a good opponent in position there with the 2-7s.
Chris Brown and the Party Tour coming to Las Vegas May 20th. 50 Cent, fabulous on the tour. MGM Grand Arena. Since Caesars doesn't have their boxing arena anymore, the MGM Grand Arena is probably the most famous arena in Las Vegas. Would you agree with that?
Until the T-Mobile Arena gains some traction, you're probably right.
Everybody from David Copperfield to the Eagles to Michael Jackson, Madonna have all played the MGM Grand Arena. It's really good. There aren't any bad seats in that arena. You know, you go there. I mean, every seat is a good seat. I also like the theater in Mandalay Bay. I think they got great seats. I've seen a bunch of concerts there. I'm big into concerts. That's my hobby. I go to concerts, see a lot of music shows.
Now, Mandalay Bay's got a couple venues, though. They've got the Beach.
Yes.
They've got the House of Blues. Isn't that at Mandalay as well?
I'm a big fan of the beach, too. I mean, what better time than be outside? It's 115 degrees at night. You're on the little beach, in the water. You got the bands playing. It's a great time. Looks like that hand just folded. Got a bet raised pre-flop and folded around. Of course, you can go ahead.
No, we didn't comment on we had a dealer change there. Janet has entered the game.
Janet,
You've probably seen Janet on many a World Poker Tour
shows. Yeah, she's dealt a lot of final tables.
At least a little bit of TV time for this here dealer.
Yeah. Again, you can hit us up on Twitter. My name is Dallas Scott. You can hit me at DallasScott73. My co-host, John Harden, the Great Hardini. If you'd like to talk to our Director of Poker Operations, Mr. Craig Lump, just hit him at Bellagio Poker on Twitter. He handles all that. He responds to all that. Tell him all the great things you like about our room when you come to town. And Craig, one of the things that I've always talked about here is that you are accessible to the players.
Well, I certainly try to be.
In fact, we were delayed a little bit today because you were being accessible to players today. So
I'm late to a lot of meetings because of that, but that's just okay. I mean, that's not a complaint. That's
So if you come into the room, you know, I mean, I'm Dallas. John will be over at Bobby's room. I'll be floating around the room somewhere doing something. Craig is in the room. He's approachable. If you have questions or suggestions, you can hit us up on Twitter, or maybe when you come in the room, come find us. Talk to us. We try to be a very player-friendly room. We have the lowest rake in the world. It's ridiculous. I mean, I actually played in a game in Spain once where the rake was, I think, $100 an hour or something like that. Time rake. It was ridiculous. And they took pride in the fact that they were the highest rake in the world. Go ahead, John. What's going on in this hand here?
We've got an open, a call with two suited aces.
Is that another set?
And Ahad. Poor Ahad here has flopped a set of fives once again. He's flopped middle set. He's up against the nut flush draw, the one-card flush draw with Jared, who opened the spot, I believe.
But the three clubs on the board might slow down Ahad's action, correct?
Very possible. It's gone check, check, and Jarrett with the ace of clubs has raised pre and then bet the flop.
What's he should? He's going to continuation bet from that flush.
Yet another check raise out of Ahad here. He has raised a ton of flops.
He's been with the exception of the set of fives, he's been very aggressive.
Yes.
But even on the set of fives that he flopped against Ron's set of fours, he did bet the flop. He just kind of checked back on the turn.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask him afterwards why he did that, or what his thought process now was.
I'm going to make the argument that both of them checked that street for the purposes of this guy's in their hand.
So does Ahad raise a 670?
This is a big flop raise.
Again, we're at Doctor versus Pharmaceutical Rep here. You know, like I feel like one of them should get their money back somehow in this hand.
Jared moved all in.
Wow. This has gone bet, 3-bet all in from the ace-high flush draw and a pretty quick call.
Hands over. Ahad's going to win another nice pot with the set of fives, turn into a full house.
Wow, big pot.
Big
They decided to run it twice?
Yes.
Nope, one time.
They were both winning in the game. That apparently, if our graphics are correct, was a pot a little over 6K. Easy game. See what happens. You fly in for a convention.
And just flop sets all night long.
And you just
Why would you ever go to the
smash
convention if you could just flop sets all day long?
Yeah.
Again, we're playing a 2-5-10 game, which is not our normal game in the room. We normally play 2-5 or 5-10. We found, though, that the players like 3 blind games, so we do them only for the stream.
We found all the streams they really like the straddle.
Yeah. So we put the straddle on automatically. Though you can't straddle a straddle in this room and straddle a straddle that's been straddled.
Oh, he's got Jared covered.
Yeah.
I'll do one
Jared
button
gonna
at a
re-enter
time
here.
next time. Turn, river.
That it was
all
an
in.
interesting check raise from a hot there. It was a bet of $160.
Looks
We
like-
made it like 510 more. I mean, it's a
Huge check raise with a
huge
set.
check raise, and maybe that came into consideration. Well, we've got an empty seat. We'll see who returns to fill it.
Is Jared coming back? We're going to put somebody else in the seat here. We'll find out in just a moment. Again, if you want to come out and be on the strip, poker at BellagioResort.com. Send us an email. Tell us why we should put you on the strip. What kind of player are you? Are you tight? Are you aggressive? Are you just like to chat at the table, have a good time? Well, I was talking to Ron in the 2-seat earlier today,
Continue
and
playing back. Continue doing
he said that he tries to make the game fun for tourists because he wants them to come back. He said, however, if you're
That's a good long-term strategy.
he says, however, if you're a pro, he tries to make you as miserable as possible. It's a great strategy
I don't know
to have,
about
right?
that.
I mean, I'm being serious.
Anything going on in the chat over there, John?
Yeah, guys, asking a strategy question. You might have the record for the longest single post on our chat so far.
That's too many words for John.
English is embarrassingly enough my first language. Last hand, kings versus sevens. Ryan betting them out. That was too much in my opinion. Too easily allowed 7-7 to lay down his hand. Oh, the previous hand. We're talking about where Ryan just rips the 1600 and the 1500 or whatever.
But doesn't the huge overbet also make it look like a bluff?
Yeah.
Which might it's the 50-50, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
it's too much to call, and sometimes it looks like a bluff, so you have to you force yourself to call.
There's a slightly dated book.
Super System.
No. It's one of the Ed Miller No Limit Hold'em books where he talks about sizing of bets with value hands and the idea of, if you can bet a huge amount and only get called a small percentage of the time, long term it might be the right play, even though you're only getting called 5% or 10% of the time, because you get 20 times as much as making a tiny little value bet. That might, be what comes into consideration there.
And the other thing is, if Ryan bets a small amount and he calls, and if 7 comes off on the river, right? What does Ryan do with the hand besides lose a bunch of chips there?
Yeah.
Because he's not putting him on 7's full, right? And where are we at in this hand?
We've got a check turn 90 and call with a gutter against bottom pair. That
Middle pair.
2 pairs.
Middle pair made.
that,
now
well
made
on the turn it's second pair, third pair. Sixes and deuces against 9 high. I can't imagine there's going to be a whole bunch of money going in here.
Unless Michael decides to bluff, right?
Yeah.
And then he's
Hey,
gonna
look, we got a new player in the game.
Oh.
This is
Bellagio
Michael
X.
So good, even
And
when
we
he
call
bets.
him Mike X because he is an X factor.
Why is that?
I think the action in this game just stepped up. That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to say. I think the action in this game
We'll see.
might just step up. I will say that
We've had pretty robust action as it goes already.
I have seen Mike X in 2-5 and 5-10 games limp and then back raise $400 and $500. I'm just saying that this could get interesting.
Mike X, better known or formerly known as Mike Knights. That is our new player in the 8 seat.
Yeah, this could get interesting. Mike, again, we call him Mike X because he is the X factor here.
Edible Dinosaur says, John, talk about the Super Bowl. Those are the kind of requests that are going to get you banned from chat. Anybody doesn't know, I'm from Atlanta, and no, it's still too soon.
It is too soon, man, because I still have the ticket that I lost.
Mike, I'm not shaking your hand.
I did see a guy.
I
there's a
made
picture
one
of a guy
better
running the Boston Marathon, and he had a sandwich board on, which was a snapshot of the starting third quarter scoreboard, 28-3. With too soon.
I'm
Let's
just
not talk about the
anti-Patriots.
Super Bowl.
And
We're just gonna move on. I can't believe I
you entertain that?
responded to the troll here. I am just
You mean they won't
Raise from Ryan and the hijack with the king queen. See if any of the blinds decide to defend.
I think he's got a
Queen
credit
jack
line
off
of at least
suit.
6 or
Queen
7.
Jack's probably calling you right out of the blinds.
Yeah.
Ryan raised the 50. He raised it
Can we use our
53.
Bellagio comps?
It's gonna be interesting. Let's see what kind of flop they get. No action.
Squadoosh.
Not for real.
Somebody folded the ace-3 of hearts. They're probably a little upset with them myself right
We're
now.
also not paying rate.
Ryan does have the back door running on his first draw. He's got him covered in the continuation bet here. He does. Now these guys just played a big hand with Ryan's pocket kings to Brian's sevens. Does Brian want some revenge here and get some of his chips back?
This is an interesting peel from the queen high. Might be looking to just try and take it away on a later street.
Does he bet here now representing? Well, it's a good bet for the Brian bets here, right? Because he could be representing an ace, and Ryan shouldn't be able to call that, right? Or he could be representing that he called with with a 7, and he's going to bet that. And unless Ryan knows something that we don't know, yeah, he's going to fold the hand. And Brian feels better because he got some of his chips back from the previous Kings versus 7s hand.
Pretty well played hand with queen high to float it and just lead.
All right, we got to go from Slope Kind. $20 on Gary getting divorced tonight. I hope not. We got to give a congratulations to Gary. He just got married last Thursday. His wife gave him the permission to come play tonight.
I wonder if that's his wife talking there. I just like
Let's hope. Again, let's hope
Like
not.
big pots. Like,
she's already like, hey,
yeah.
putting the lockdown on the poker. Again, a beautiful shot of our Bellagio poker room. You can actually see Craig's other venture, our sports book in the back, the Play MGM app, any place you're geolocated in the entire state of Nevada. So if you're like driving across Nevada because you're going somewhere else, you can just bet sports all day long.
Danielle, the good lookingness of this table is just like unparalleled.
All right, again, I am your host. I'm Dallas Scott. My co-host is John Harden here, and our director of poker operations and the manager of the Grayson Sportsbooks. He had demoted you on that side.
Oh, jeez.
Because we know
You've been on the stream. I've had 7 different titles this evening. None of which have been correct. Yeah, that's all right.
He's
Mr.
about to
Craig
be
Long.
he's about to be manager on duty of the
of snacks.
not to disparage the said manager on duty of snacks. He's doing a phenomenal job.
I only tease with you, Craig, because you have some incredible managers under you that do a lot of work to make this room run as smoothly as it does.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, anyone that thinks they can run a poker room or anything really for that matter without a great team, they're unfortunately sad mistaken. I've been blessed with a lot of talent in this poker room and some of the best poker minds and knowledge in the industry, and that is a great reason for the success we've had here at Bellagio, especially a nice little resurgence here in the last couple of years.
Was Michael adding to his reload cup there? I missed what all that was about.
I think our previous tenant of the 8 seed, whose name has escaped me, 9 seed. Jared brought a stack of green into the game.
Oh,
I think there's some housekeeping being done to keep it just 2 denominations.
And just so everybody knows, like we play 5-10 here with $10 chips and black chips, $100 chips.
And the greens play, but it's not the preferred chip.
It's not the preferred chip. Where a lot of places around the country, they play 5-10 with nickels and quarters. We play with 10s and hundreds with only the nickel for the small blind. And this is a 2-5-10 game, so it's our normal 5-10 buy-in is $400 to $1,500. We upped it a little bit for this game, made it $500 to $2,000. I think everybody bought in for the $2,000 except for Ryan LaPlante. He bought in for $1,000. But you'll notice the little clear cups. Those are the reload cups. So if you do lose some chips, you can just go into the cup, take out more chips, and keep playing. Those chips do not play while they're in the cup. They only play once they come out of the cup and onto the table. Oh, we're back to my favorite fight of the year. I cannot wait for this fight this weekend. Craig doesn't know it yet, but I'm calling in on Saturday because I'm going to go watch this fight. I'm laying heavy on Chavez Jr. I don't know why. I just feel like Canelo. Maybe it's because Canelo's doing this commercial now with. Have you seen the commercial with him and Sylvester Stallone where he's got a black eye and Stallone gives him the steak? Go ahead, John. What's going on Twitter?
Just a quick question from. It's a question about what are the buy-ins? Do all the Bellagio games have a cap on the buy-in? It's up to 5 and 10.
Right.
There's a 1,500 cap, but we have uncapped, no limit, hold'em, and pot limit Omaha games. Anything bigger than 10 and 20, to the roof you go.
Yeah. So like our min buy-in on our 10-20 game is 800, no max. Our 25-50 game is 2,500. Min buy-in, no max. Like I said, right now on the other side of that wall there's a 25-50 No limit holding game with a $25,000 minimum buy-in. One of my favorite players to ever walk into the room is back in that game today. Remember like a month and a half ago, we had a guy walk in here with $100,000 in a case say, I won a game?
Yeah.
Took us
In
30
a suitcase.
Yes, it took us 30 minutes.
It was like the briefcase, you know?
The briefcase, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, this was some,
It took us
this was
30
some
minutes to-
James Bond stuff going on
It took
here.
us 30 minutes to text and call some people, but we got him in game.
What did we get? 1 in 200, no limit?
Yeah, and he ended up losing the entire $100,000, which is because he started out on a huge heater. He was up like 50,000 right away. Just put some ridiculous beats on some people. End of the night, he's broke. He loses 150,000. He's back in the game with another 100,000.
If at first you don't succeed.
Sell a house, come by. Interesting flop here, John, or no? Nothing.
We've got a raise, 2 calls, and then we've got a gutter with the queen jack on the 6-9-8 board. And Brian's just looks like he's leading into 2 players with king tray offsuit for no pair, no draw.
And he's going to win the pot, right? Nobody's going to call him.
Easy game. He's got this figured out.
We haven't seen anything from Mike X yet. I predict, though, that we will see some. I actually talked to Mike before the game, and he's like, are there certain things you guys look for players when you put on the stream? We like to see action. Everybody wants to see action, right?
Absolutely.
And he was like, oh, this is for me then, because I give action.
No one, again, like John says, no one flies to Vegas to fold. No one comes on a stream to fold.
So he was actually very excited. He's like, oh, I like to give action. So we haven't seen anything from him yet, but I do expect that sooner or later Mike X is going to become the X factor in this game. Where we had in the action here, it looks like it's just folding around.
We got an open offer to open this pot to whoever wants to do it. Folded to Gary, and now we're on the button with Brian.
And here's the thing so Gary and Ron and the other Michael, they've all played a lot of hands with Mike X before. They know he is absolutely capable of anything. Does it affect the way they play hands?
For the ones that know, yeah, it might. That was almost our first
A walk?
It was almost a walk. The $20 straddle was put on by Ahad, folded to Ron. He raised and took it.
What great action in this game tonight. Again, the plastic cups on the table are the reload cups.
I've got a lot of questions in the chat about it. It seems to keep coming up.
Yeah.
It just seems to be something that we kind of started here by accident, and players seem to
certainly
like
not
it.
on purpose.
And
The
the
one
question's been asked is, do we do it in our regular games? The answer is not yet. Not yet. Yeah.
And everyone keeps asking, what's wrong with their pockets? Nothing.
Nothing. It's just why you want to stand up and have to take them out of your pockets. Just dip into the cup and take them out. Players seem to like it a lot, the players that have it. So we just kind of kept it and rolled with it. And it's become kind of our little niche thing in our stream. It's the Bellagio Reload Cup.
I think it's going to continue.
If you have a cup and you're coming out to play in the stream, just keep it appropriate. We don't want any naked lady cups or anything like that.
Somebody earlier in the chat said, hey, can I bring my Yeti for my reloads?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe something stainless steel.
Yeah. Maybe
Bedazzled.
maybe you were just like Gary. You got married over the weekend. You have your the little cup you got for the wedding thing. You gave all to all the
a little champagne flute.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Bring it. Throw your cups in there.
If it fits the
your
chips.
in there.
Yeah.
So we got a flop here. It's folded to Brian in the cutoff, who opened the suited ace. Ryan 3-bet to 140, and they took this 8-6-5 rainbow flop heads
Brian
up.
and Ryan have played a few hands together tonight. We'll see how Ryan's got a bet here, right? Because he's got an overcard.
He's 3-bet pre and just continues. Looks like a bet of 220.
Pretty solid flop for a pair of nines, no?
Yeah. And Brian's got to think that maybe his 7's good for the straight. Maybe the ace is good here. Unfortunately, if it hits a 7, he's going to lose chips here because Ryan's got the 9 to make the bigger straight. And he's just going to give the hand up. He's not playing for the gut shot, the runner, or even the ace. They're laughing at each other. Haha, I beat you in another pot. You got the last one. That's 2-1. Ryan. All right, where are we at? We haven't seen a lot out of Ron. He flopped a set over set against Michael and won a huge pot. And then he went set over set with the wrong set to Hod and lost a huge pot. And he's kind of been quiet since then.
He has opened a handful of pots and gotten 3-bet by Ahad, and been out of
Ahad's the big
position
winner on
to
the
him.
table so far right now. He's up.
That is affirmative.
He's got about 6,000 or 7,000. in front of him. We haven't heard a lot from Robert tonight either. Gary's played a few pots. I'm
I can't
still
recall
waiting.
Robert playing a hand. Can you?
I think he played one, to be honest with you. And I don't even remember what the hand was. It was so limited.
Robert?
Yes.
Yeah. Might be that he's just not had some good situations so far. I feel guilty in this pot because I know if we talk to him right now, he'd say, yeah, you dummy, I played this pot this way and I played this hand this way, and it's just, you know, we're trying to remember every single hand. And so some of them are
Robert
gonna
just
slip
folded
through the
deuces
cracks.
there to a 70 raise to 70 pre-flop.
It's annoying.
It's kind of my job.
If only they get
At the beginning, people
Remember
like
last week we had Dennis, who was one of our players that sent us an email on the Bellagio, poker at BellagioResort.com. He got in the game, and he really got in some really tough spots last week. I thought he played them very well, lost the minimal chips. They were playing the 7-deuce game, and he got himself kind of pot committed with the 7-deuce there. But I thought he gave action, and he just, like I said, he kind of put himself in some bad situations. I bet if he comes back, he does a lot better in the game here. John, anything interesting going on in the chat?
3 Aces on board is asking about a VPIP or PRF stats. What that is you can show a set of statistics for VPIP is voluntarily put into pot. So it shows how many hands you're not in the blinds that you put money in.
What does he think he is?
And PRF is what percentage of hands you play you raise pre-flop. Good suggestions. We'll look into seeing if we can get that done.
Yeah, we'll check if we can we'll check with our producers, see if we can get that up on the stream.
All right. Any action in this hand, John? Looks like it's oh, Ron's gonna get jiggy here with the 10-6
Yeah.
raise. Yeah, I'm bringing back jiggy. That's my move.
Folded to
there.
Ron's
Yeah, good
button,
luck.
and Robert 3-bet him, takes it down. I didn't even see Robert's hand.
I didn't
But
either.
almost on cue, we were talking about how he hadn't played many pots. He 3-bets one and takes it down out of the blind.
about the hand without my range.
Here I thought we were friends.
No, I'm saying.
Again, a beautiful shot of our room. You see lots of action. It is. What's that? Today's Wednesday night.
Busy night here.
Yeah.
Nice hand.
And it's only going to get busier. This is a
Yeah,
great
we were-
weekend for us. This is Kentucky Derby, right? This weekend.
Yep.
Mother's Day is
really?
next. Yes. Kentucky Derby is always a great weekend here in Las Vegas. A lot of people like to come out and keep Craig employed by betting on the Races Sportsbook.
go.
You can also do it on the Play MGM app. Any place geolocated in the state of Nevada. Make your wagers. Get in on the Kentucky Derby. Excited.
Speaking of busy weekend, we're about 3 weeks out from all the action in Las Vegas.
Yes.
I mean,
The World Series of Poker is coming, and I was talking to Ryan earlier about it, and he was like, no matter how bad he's running up until the World Series of Poker starts, once it starts, it's like a new day for him,
Yeah.
and he's all in. You know, he's, for overusing a bad poker term, all in. So, no, he really enjoys that time of year, as will do a lot of pros. Any action in this hand, John?
This
here?
is a pretty crazy one. Ryan.
Do I count
puts-
6 players?
Yeah, he
pre-flop?
puts the $20 straddle on it, and it goes limp up front, a limp, another limp, a complete, a call, a check,
Forgot to call.
5 ways to a flop, a mystery hand from the straddler.
And Michael flopped a set of 8s.
But then someone else flops.
People must think that it's easy to come to on the
Bellagio
Bellagio and flop sets.
This is incredible. So we've got open-ended by Ron, and then we've got a pair of 10s. We've got a set. I think this might be a big pot between Ronnie and Michael once again.
And Michael is probably trying to get back some chips from the set over set hand they played earlier, right?
Absolutely correct.
And since it was limped around, Mike's not putting Ronnie on any of that, right? He's probably putting him on a diamond draw or a straight draw or something to that extent, right? You know, does he think he has a hand like ace-10 or?
This is an interesting one. Michael checks the set. It goes 11,000 checks to the open-ended with Ron in the cutoff. He puts in the bet of 60, and Michael raises it to 300 to thin the field out here.
Is Ron going to come after this with the flush draw on board? Is he going to come after this straight draw after that's such a large bet?
That's an interesting one because you only really have 6 clean outs here to the nuts.
And
he did
No,
come.
not even because the queen comes off. You don't have the nuts.
so, and then
Ron
Mike
makes a
check
call.
raised his hand here, right? So,
Yeah.
could he check raise with something
Oh,
like a
there's
flush
the
draw?
queen.
Oh.
Michael is a little snake bit here today. I think I can.
He's
formally
probably
declare.
thinking, why did I come in here and say that I want to play in this game today? Like, really, like, he's been in some set over set where he had the smaller set, straight over straight where he had the smaller straight,
Did someone pay you to come after?
and now he's what is he calling here with? What did he call me with in this hand? I think he might be thinking, I'm
This
not
is-
paying you off again.
This is another spot where, you're hoping you're up against like the ace queen of diamonds-ish kind of hand. I don't know. I mean, it's a big hand, but man.
But if he put him on something like King Jack of diamonds or Jack 9 of diamonds, which are all plausible hands right here, right, that Ronnie would have bet and called a raise pre on the flop with.
Oh, and he leads out.
How does Ronnie play it now?
Check raise to 300, a bet of 625 after the check raise from Michael.
Is Ronnie licking his lips here?
Ron's got to put in a raise here, right? To get rid of any possible draws out there. No.
I don't know.
He could. I mean,
he could.
There's a lot of bad rivers for the queen high straight on this board. There's also the possibility he doesn't have the best hand here.
King Jack.
Most likely
yeah.
to raise, though.
And
all in again.
Yeah,
all in
I mean,
again.
yeah. And it's kind of interesting because Ronnie could have put Mike on a hand like King Jack of diamonds because he might have raised that hand, check raised that hand, knowing he had a lot of outs and he couldn't be drawing dead at the time, right? And he's gonna
Michael's
gonna
put the
call.
money in again. Can we get a board pair? It might be Michael's one time now.
Oh,
Unreal.
Michael's gonna be sick of this.
Make too many sets.
Like, why do I keep losing pot to this guy with sets?
Oh, man, another big pot.
Reload cup. And see, Michael takes it in stride. He's laughing about it. He's like, this is ridiculous.
I mean, what can you do at that point?
Sometimes it's just not your day. People who don't lose money with sets are my heroes because when I play poker, set is my weakness. Like I have a really hard time folding them, and like they say, you either win a lot of money with sets or you lose a lot of money with them, right? Yeah, it's kind of like aces. Hey, there we go. You got some more chips, and I need a drink. Tell the cocktail lady.
His reload cup is going to need whiskey.
Yes.
So you might,
2 ice
you might
cubes.
sleep like 5 hours.
I think Mike is in this game for the better part of 6,000 or 7,000 now. That is,
He's on his third bullet here.
yeah. This is
One of the great things about this poker room, though, is that we don't only have no limit hold'em. We have a game for everybody that wants it. Sure. We have 8160 and 4080 mixed games that run every single day. Sometimes we get 2 and 3 tables of them. It's amazing.
Speaking
Please
of
don't
which,
skip over the limit hold'em games.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Only
limit-
place in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we run them from 4-8 to whatever you want to play. I mean, we high as 100, 200, 500, 1,000. We have all that big. We start at 4-8 with a half kill and whatever you want to play. And again, it's the type of room where we know all the players. If you come to us and say, hey, I want to play this game, we can get you a game. It's might take us 30 or 40 minutes, but we can make some phone calls and get you a game. Come on in and say, this is what I'm looking for. Are you looking for a 25, 50, 50, 100 PLO? We got it. However, it's unlikely that we will spread a low limit PLO game. We will if asked, but our sister property, Aria, does an amazing job. They have that 2-5 PLO game with a rock that is very, very, it's probably the most popular PLO game in all of Vegas. They generally get 2 or 3 games that night. And again, Aria is probably the best daily tournament in all of Las Vegas. Monday through Thursday, $125 at 1 o'clock, $125 at 7. I am a regular in those tournaments, so if you want to come out and play poker, I'm glad to give you my chips. And then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they do 11 a.m. with a $240 tournament, 7 p.m. with a $125 tournament. But the absolute best tournament in all of Las Vegas, with the exception of the WSOP, I'm not even going to try and be there, is the Bellagio Cup. $10,000 buy-in, July 13th through the 18th. We have the 25Ks. Coming up at the end of May, the 22nd and 23rd, we have a 10K mixed game tournament here. They play the 10-game mix, the old PokerStars 10-game mix on Monday. On Tuesday, it's a 25K. All the big-name pros come in. They play it. It's really a lot of fun. And like I said, you brought the idea to me, John, and I went to Craig and fought and got with some pro players, put together a structure, and Craig finally let it have it. And he lost another prop bet on how many players we were going to have.
Well, again, what did I tell you earlier? I don't mind paying the over on entrance.
But the over was double.
I show up.
Oh, I missed by 100%. There's no doubt.
I show up that day, though, and there's registration was just closing. We got our 25th entry into the thing. And I come up to Craig. I said, hey, did we have a bet on this? And his response is something along the lines of, I don't know, man. I'm sure I lost. Please let me know.
I paid a lot of lunches on the mixed games participation.
And some people like 25 players. That's a lot of players for a $25,000 buy-in tournament. You know, even the no limit tournaments they run at Aria with re-entries and everything get like 30 to 40. Not a lot of people can afford a 25K tournament. That's why I'm trying to convince Craig, and you guys can hit him up on Twitter at Bellagio Poker, so we can get some satellites. What do we miss, John?
Mike is in the blinds, defends a raise with the queen six and gets the beautiful king rag flop, and check raises a hot off of the pair of tens, just firing it in there as predicted.
As X Factor is showing up. That's why we call him Mike's X, because we have no idea what he's ever going to do. As you see, he made, what was it, queen six, Austin?
Queen six of diamonds.
Yeah, queen six of diamonds.
To his credit, he
the
did flop
suited grizz,
the backdoor flush draw.
There you go. And he played like, I'm telling you, I've seen Mike several times limp pre-flop and then put 400 in on the check raise on the flop. It's amazing, like, and wins pots. He wins 70, 80, $100 at a time, but those little pots add up and collect a lot of money, collect a lot of chips from. Lady Gaga is coming to the T-Mobile Arena in August. I go to a lot of concerts, and she does an amazing show. It's thoroughly entertaining. It's an amazing show, great interaction. Anything interesting going on this hand, John?
Not yet. Another raise and take it. This is interesting. We either have a pot where somebody opens and wins $17, or two players find a way to put in 2,000 plus apiece. We've not had a whole lot of the middle value-ish range hands, you know?
And again, if you want to come out and play, just hit us on poker at BellagioResort.com. I am your host, Dallas Scott. My co-host is John Harden, and our Director of Poker Operations and Over the Race and Sportsbook, Mr. Craig Lump. I fairly expect that I'm going to get some emails from your fiance for your title.
Finally getting it right this time? Is that what?
Did I get it right
yeah,
this
you
time?
finally got it right.
Accuracy by volume at the very least.
Yeah.
You know?
At 1 out of 7, he's going to finally hit it right.
Broken clock is rough.
She's probably sending me a hand clap emoji right now. So people know this game is on a 30-minute delay. We have and we do not allow cell phones on the table. We do not allow. You can have drinks, but they can't be on the table. And the cups are our reload cups. You put your chips that you want to reload in case you take a bad beat or something and lose some pots. The chips are not in play until they come out of the cup. And anytime you need to reload, just open the cup, put them out. If you have your own reload cup, bring it on out with you. You got a cup with a picture of you and your wife on it smiling, or the kids, and that's your lucky cup? Bring it out. Throw your chips in there. Let's be reloading. What's going on, John and Sam?
Folded all the way, blind versus blind, just to complete in a check. It was the blind and the straddle. And it's top pair against bottom two on the flop. Tens with the jack against the 6-5.
Oh, look, it's Ron and the hot again. They've had some history tonight.
Now, Ron has bet 2 streets in a row and just gotten called by top pair from the most active player in the game, Ahad. This is an interesting.
Big winner in the game so far tonight, too, right?
Ron Ahad has had some really good spots here to get paid off in some hands.
Yeah. This is the first time I can think of in the last little while that he's not had the best hand going into a river.
He's just going to check call here. He's going to show him 2 pair.
Yeah, Ron flops bottom 2, just goes bet, and wins himself a nice little $600.
And Ron's smiling. He's like, I finally take a pot off this guy tonight. It's been a rough night for Ron against the hot. Though Ron did win a huge pot against Michael earlier tonight, set over set. And then he lost a huge pot to a hot set over set. Like you said, you come to Bellagio, you can flop sets. Anybody can.
Yeah, we've had, what, 4 or 5 sets already tonight?
Yeah, we have. It's crazy how many sets we get in this game. Let's see, we got, look at the poker room action. I'm betting that's like, JJ's in the game, so it's probably a 2-5 no limit hold'em game right in front of us on table 20. I see Norman, they're regular poker players here. Yes, we have a lot of regular poker players at Bellagio. We have a lot of tourists come in. And sometimes, I'm not even gonna lie, I get pleasure out of tourists walking out of here with racks and racks of chips.
Oh, it's the best feeling on earth.
You know, like,
Well, because you know they'll come back.
yeah. But it's nice to see. I have this theory that just because you're a tourist doesn't mean you can't play poker. Like we always say that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen this guy before. I don't know where he is. What you don't know is back home in Alabama, the guy's probably making $45,000 a year playing 2-5 against
The guy keeps his job at the post office just for the benefits.
Right.
All the real money he's making is coming out of the poker game in the trailer. I unfortunately have some firsthand experience of assuming the guy's a bum and then being proven otherwise a little later on.
I mean, it looks like Mike has to call $160 here with King 6 of diamonds. He's probably not going to do that again.
Yeah, Mike is
Mystery hand.
folded to Mike's button and he's opened.
Oh, that was Mike X. I'm actually surprised he did not call here. I misunderstand that. I thought that was
Dude,
Mike.
King's a powerful hand.
Man, especially for my. We see Mike pick off a pot here with Queen 6 of diamonds. Again, we call him Mike X because he is an X factor in the game. He's actually only played one pot like that tonight, but I expect that we'll see some more come out of him. Like I said, he was very excited to be on the cast tonight because he's like, I like to give action. I think, but he likes to pick his spots very well and who he can bluff and who he can take action, get off pots. Anything interesting going on in the chat, John? No.
I tell you what, there's been a lot of discussion about the set versus the straight hand and a lot of different opinions. It's very interesting to see some of the different players, and no one is on exactly the same page. So proving against again is not
here's
one way to skin a cat. But
the ultimate reality is that everyone can play a hand real well when all the cards are face up.
Fair, yeah, of course. I mean,
it certainly makes it a lot easier, huh?
Yeah, I know when to fold every single time.
1 ERA in the AL East when like the Yankees 8-hitter at 45.
Brian's got a 5-4 of spades, one of my favorite hands. I like any spade hand. I like to play bet with those hands myself. Oh, Michael's got a 9-6 of spades. Let's see if we can get a flush draw versus flush draw. Looks like Mike is the
straddle,
straddle.
And it was open to 60, and they're going to defend. There are some.
We have not seen the re-straddle tonight, right? We haven't seen.
No, that was the 20 was on there.
Okay,
but the 40 is not gone.
Oh wow!
I bet we'll see it before the
end. Is that that's a club.
Two
I
clubs,
thought it was two.
This is a wheel draw against 9 high. 9 high is going to continue. Excuse me, the wheel draw is going to continue. That is a check call from the 9-6 of spades on the ace deuce flop from Mike.
Michael's going to try and take this hand away on the turn. He's going to check raise. He's out of position in this hand. Oh, he's just going to give it up. Like, I'm going to have to ask Michael later why he called in that spot.
I think I was too young.
Then just gave the hand up easily on the turn.
No.
NHL 96 though.
We're having some debates over here, internal debates over here. Again, make sure when you come to Las Vegas, you come to MGM Properties, get your M Life card, earn your comps, earn your free rooms, earn your food. We have some amazing restaurants in here. Prime is one of the best steakhouses in the world, not just in Las Vegas. Jasmine, if you love Asian food, John, you and I have had this Peking dunk over at Jasmine. It's
gangbusters.
It is. And the sea bass over there is, I mean, like.
Sea bass is good.
Sea bass is like my favorite meal in general.
I'm going to disagree with both of you. The best meal over there and one of the best on property is the Mushu Pork.
Really?
Oh, I've never had the Mushu Pork.
Yeah,
I have not had it. I haven't even seen it.
Easily
Challenge accepted,
yes,
sir.
Absolutely.
How many bets have you lost
I was going to
so
say,
far?
the next time you lose a prop bet,
whatever. You know I'm going to lose the next one anyway, so whatever. You guys want to bet now?
Yeah. Next bet.
If that's the case, can we just move on and not make the bet and you just go ahead and buy us the dinner?
Why not? Let's save ourselves.
Michael's got
Pork.
Finally won
He got the mystery hand out of a hot here. He's been very active. He's just
Small
gonna give it up,
pot, small pot at a time.
More raise and take it action.
One or two.
Michael's got to raise pots here, right? Because he's stuck a lot in this game, right? He's got to try and pick up as many little pots
Pretty
as possible.
active. He's been pretty active pre-flop.
Is that a winning strategy? Like, I'm stuck. I'm going to raise more.
Hey, he's won more hands by being stuck and raising more pre-flop than he actually has playing the hands. Not because he's played them bad. He's just been some really bad spots. Set over set, small straight to big straight, set over straight. He's always been on the bottom end of those hands. Just a rough night for Mike. It seems like every week we have one guy that just has a rough night.
Yeah.
You know, like. But Michael's a good enough player. He's been playing long enough. He's not going to let it bother him, and he knows he can get it back sooner or later.
You know, every once in a while, you just got to throw a party for your compatriots here.
Ron raised with a queen 4 of hearts, right? It folded around to him in the cutoff. Of course, he's going to make a play at the pot here. We haven't seen Robert play a lot of hands tonight.
I will say this.
Oh, he's re-raising.
He's 3-betting.
I will say this. This is the first time in recent memory I can remember Ron opening where Ohad was in position on him
and didn't 3-bet
and didn't 3-bet it.
That's why I enjoy live. Like online, like I play it to make money.
Does Ron play the queen 4 here in position? It's $210 from the caller. You just give it up.
Yeah, open to 60 and a 3-bet to 210. That's a healthy little 3-bet.
Now, because Robert has a reputation tonight of being pretty snug, is Ron just going to give his hand up? Like he hasn't 3-bet a lot of pots pre-flop. He's got to put him on a monster, or is it the other way around where Ron's thinking, hey, if this guy has a monster and I can make a hand here, I can give him pay me off.
The other thing that's interesting. Oh, that is a 4-bet
Wow.
from Ron with the Queen 4.
He's
Little-
the guy who's played the least amount of hands tonight. That's huge.
This is the bit of history, though. I think it was in this exact same situation in the last orbit that it went open and Robert 3-bet what was a pretty questionable hand. He just raised 3-bet and took it, but apparently Ron's not going to stand by that happening 2 orbits in a row.
And unlike other streams in the WSOP, these guys don't have that information because we do not allow phones on the table. So they can't, even though we're on a delayed stream, you can't be, nobody's texting them saying, hey, this is what happened 20 minutes ago. He 3-bets you light. That's not going on because we don't allow the phones at the table.
For the live stream, of
For the
course.
live stream, yeah. So they don't have access to the information. So Ron deciding to 3-bet here with the Queen 4 is huge. Like there's something. I mean,
4-bet.
yeah, 4-bet pre-flop, and against a guy who hasn't played very many hands tonight. So it's, are we back to the level? I know what you know, but you don't know what I know, kind of thing. And
That's an interesting one. A valid attempt at defending your blinds, and then an even more valiant attempt at defending your open. You know,
that's the open defense.
Let's see if Rob's going to do that with the Jack-9 suited the next
All
time.
right, pay me $5 and then tell me.
That was actually
Pay me $5
a
and
very
then
well played hand by both of them.
Yeah.
Again, the Bellagio Cup Poker Tournament, July 13th to the
It won't
18th.
go on
The
the table,
Bellagio
it'll go
Cup
on the radio.
13, $10,000
Which will be
buy-in.
on the table.
Last
Main
year,
event
first,
starting the 14th.
last year, we had 700,000 for our first place in that event.
That's about that.
And of course, we have the 5 Diamond, the first ever WPT event with $2 million places for first and second.
That was unbelievable.
record.
James Romero ran like
That
Jason
was-
Mercier.
That was
Or Fader
really, though,
Holtz.
if you look at what he did, it's like the greatest story because the guy, he had just moved to Vegas as far as I know. He had just come in. He was a regular in our 5-10 no limit game. Had been playing in it for, 8 weeks.
Yep.
Played a single table, or a mega satellite.
Yep.
He got through the registration period on a single buy-in. He's into the tournament for $1,000. No deals, no nothing. Give me all
There
the
was
money.
no chop at the final table whatsoever.
$1.9 million. Believe in your goals.
And it seemed like I can't remember the exact number, but from about 30 players down, it was like he never lost a pot. It seemed.
No.
I mean, just the whole way.
And but yes, we all know there's some luck in this hand, but he played some of the toughest players in the world and played back at them.
Yeah.
And took pots off. I mean, when we went back and looked at the hands, like on TV, on Fox Sports, there was some amazing poker played by everybody at the table. And Jacob Schindler took 3rd place. Ryan got 2nd. These are guys who are regulars in our 10-20. But people know Jacob from the Super High Rollers on TV and a lot of the high roller tournaments. These are phenomenal players. And James Romero came in, like you said, with $1,000 and beat the best in the world for $1.9 million. He ran like they say, like Mercy. Maybe it's run like Fader now because from what we understand.
That is becoming the most accurate description.
He just shipped another tournament this week. That's
He did.
unreal.
But it was only a 5K buy-in.
Only a 5K?
Normally he wins 25 and $100,000 buy-in.
No,
The-
correct.
the
it was a 5K euro.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's like 7,500. Okay.
Something
yeah.
like that. I don't know.
His month, though, his past month has been pretty interesting. They had something out in Macau where he got 2nd in what was effectively a 50K U.S. tournament. He got 2nd in that. And then straight to Monaco from there. He had 2 cashes there, didn't he?
Yeah, and he won one of them. He won the 5K. And
He got 2nd or 4th in their high roller as well. It must be nice. I mean, he's obviously put in a lot of homework and is a stellar player, but he's having the best run of his life so far at the age of 23.
yeah,
So
I'm going to predict that he makes final 3 tables of the WSOP.
the main event, you're gonna bet he makes the final 3 tables. You got action, buddy. It's such a minefield. The best player in the world by a long ways is a dog to make the final 3 tables.
So we have actually we're going to try and get him on the stream next week. We have a guy that plays here in the room. I played the main event last year, and every time he walks in the room, I want to just like choke him, because like it's a $10,000 buy-in. He's a small blind. I'm the big blind. He shifts with Ace Jack. We're both relatively short on chips. I call him with the Ace King. I hit my king, but my king makes his ace jack of spades a flush.
Oh.
It cripples me. Now I got like 6 big blinds. I'm, effectively out of the tournament. And every time he walks into the room, I'm just like, all I think about is that ace jack hand, ace jack, ace
You're
jack.
the worst
ace
kind
jack.
of person.
Yeah.
I do. I got to give some props to the thinly veiled Bragg for playing the main event, though.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a brag.
I had a great summer last year. Like I won a deep stack event. I cashed in the 5K turbo, and then I won my seat to the main event for $545. So it was a good summer.
Likely scenario.
I think we're gonna have a 4-way flop here.
Good.
I'm rooting for 7-6 by Ron.
Michael opened, got called in the very next seat by the King Jack of spades, so we've got 2 big spade draws. And then in the blinds, we've got the Jack 10 and the 6-7. And believe in your goals, your dreams can come true. Once again, Michael opens, gets called by the world, and just flops trips. Unfortunately, he's not up against a whole lot.
No, there's a flush draw out there. That's the only thing that's going to call him, and that's not even out there.
No one's got a club.
Does somebody try and take the pot off him, thinking he's bluffing? Continuing, making a continuation bet. Gary's in the tank here. He's thinking about it. Craig, what's going on in the chat?
Dallas, they did just call you out for telling a bad beat story.
I owe somebody $2, right?
Jimmy Buckets, we would like to thank you and apologize for our misgivings here. We will not allow Dallas to tell any more bad beat
I have
stories.
I have a
on
proposal.
stream.
How about instead of having a swear jar, we have a bad beat story jar? I don't know what the number should be. Maybe these guys in chat can make a suggestion.
I think you should have to buy lunch that I usually lose. You
Yeah?
have to pay if you ever tell us a
Well,
bad beat
here's the
story
thing.
on
This
there
is an
again.
unbalanced jar because, not to call you out, but when was the last time you played a hand of poker, Craig?
Oh, a couple months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, not that long ago. I don't get to play much around town.
Yeah.
I'm too busy working.
Re-
When I get out
respect-
of town, I love to play. I don't
He
get
doesn't
much
play
time to.
much because every time he puts his name on a list, the world shows up to play against him.
I know, right? and unfortunately, I'm on the other side of this, so I know what's going on.
Right.
So yeah.
Respect to the man because he's working. No disrespect intended there.
But I do like it when I get out of town. I do like to play as much as I can,
There you go.
or I just don't play around town much because I'm busy. But I will fire off at least the one tournament this summer, and I call that my annual donation to the community that's given so well to me because I have no chance of winning, which is fine. But it's like I said, we'll get in some action here this summer, which is always a good time.
All right.
I love to play around town.
I mean, I'm not gonna play the main event like Dallas here.
We've got it looks like a $20 straddle from Ron. Okay, Ron's in the big blind. $20 straddle. Folds to Brian, who opens the 7-5, and Ron wakes up in the straddle with the 2 kings.
There's nothing
Puts him-
greater than having a straddle on and waking up with a monster, right?
Yeah.
Especially when somebody's already raised you.
And this is another duo that's got a little bit of history at this table.
But with the 7-5, even with position here, Brian's going to give it. Yeah, he's giving his hand up, right?
It's just one of those things where, like, it folds to your butt, and there's so much dead money with 4 people having put blinds in. How do you fold anything?
I'd like to thank Ron for tipping the dealer right there. I don't think anybody's had because we really do, like you said before, Craig, have some of the best dealers in the country. There's not a game they don't know how to deal. Even when the players make up games like Taiwanese poker, they know how to deal that. For those of you who don't know what Taiwanese poker is, don't worry because neither does anybody else. It's weird because like guys always see them up there playing the game in our high limit area and they're like, hey, what's that? They're like Taiwanese. I've never heard that. Nobody knows how to play the game. Even the guys who play it don't really know how to play the game. One of them will write a book about it one day, but they'll probably give a lot of false information so the rest of us lose money on it.
Boy, I
right?
tell you what, one of my things to talk about with the next game players is, and we can debate this all about, I wish they'd quit creating new games because I think it's driving out people that aren't going to get bored and play the
I've
game.
been making this exact argument.
John and I
for
have been talking a long time. It's one of the reasons that we don't play a lot of mixed games around town because there's so many crazy games in the mix. Like Archie, for those of you who don't know what Archie is,
High-low 5-card triple draw with 2 qualifiers.
yes. Think about that.
Do I need to go on for those of you who
You have
still
no
don't know?
idea where your opponent is at anywhere in that game. Do they have quads? Are they on a low draw? Are they on a high draw?
But that's part of the reason they like it because,
It's a gamble game.
You compel some hands to get the showdown that probably shouldn't be if the game was structured a little different.
Oh, well, we got a hand here right now.
I slept this. It goes, Michael just opens and flops top set, ho-hum, against Brian, who called in the
That's the
cutoff.
third
It
set
looks-
that Michael's flopped tonight, and he's lost the first 2. Let's see if he can make top set hold up here. And we don't know what Brian
No
has.
action.
All right, good
Brian.
news. Good news.
Congratulations,
Quick
Michael.
before they change their mind.
That's how you win with a set.
Whew, all right. Anyway, here's the thing about these mixed games in town. We for the last let's call it 2 months. We've had a regular every single day, at least one full game 81-60.
We've had 81-60 with a must move to 81-60.
Yeah, and more often than not, we've had 2 full games with the list behind it. And these are the guys that are wanting to play these 14 games. So as much as I agree with your opinion that these mixes are just incredibly
John, but it begs the question, though.
complicated.
Okay, so we had 2 games of mix. But would we have 3 or 4 if there was more player pool?
I don't know. I mean,
and that's kind of
again, we're not in the business of telling people to pick games they want to play. We're in the business of spreading it for them. But
2 full 81-60 mixed games?
is that all you can ask for? We've maxed out. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, at
nobody
some
else
point
has
we are.
180. Nobody else has any. I think the only
absolutely
other
right.
mixed game that might be around town is Aria has a 918 that goes maybe
and
once
on.
or twice. a
Oh,
week.
there's no doubt we have the space cornered for sure, but which is great that all the mixed game action is here. It's just like we said, we talk about all the games in the mix, and hopefully we can. But like we said, we let the players pick whether they want to play.
What's going on in the chat?
Mike, flops that top set of kings. And, I'm Drag says, I wonder how Bellagio will figure out how to take this pot. That was funny. Mike, just so whenever you're watching this after this stream is over, just to be clear, we are laughing at you, not with you.
Oh, 7
Man.
deuce. Mike X Factor. Mike X is raised to 170 with the 7 deuce. He gets called by Brian with the 10-6. Oh, no. It's folded back to Brian. Brian originally called the
So there's
the
a
20.
straddle of 20. Brian is just limp. The 10-6
I think they put the 7 deuce game on.
No, that's just Mike X.
On
Mike
some
X,
level.
Oh, they did put the 7 deuce on.
Yeah, we're pretty sure they put the 7 deuce on.
Producers will tell us the 7 deuce game is on. Oh.
How much
How
for?
what are we playing for? 50 a player, 100 a player here?
On anyone else than
50.
50
50 a man, so it is worth a smooth $350 to you.
And this got us some
if you
big
get the
action
7
last
deuce.
week.
Oh, and he calls with the 10-6 of diamonds here. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
This isn't exactly a.
It hasn't taken long for Mike to establish an image at this table here.
When I was younger, some friends of mine introduced me to a game called Kokien, which literally translates to crap hand. That's exactly what we're playing right now. This is going to be. Mike hasn't played a lot of hands, even though we know he's the X Factor. I don't know that Brian's played a lot of hands with him or seen him play a lot. So Mike raises the pre-flop. He's calling him with the 10. He's not giving Mike credit for a hand.
This
We're
is
not scared of the ace.
this is brewing up to be an incredible hand here.
And just so you know, Mike X is 100% capable of 3-barrel bluffing all day, every day. And he's capable of putting in a big bet right now on this turn. He likes to put his opponents to the test. What I think is generally a lot of pro players believe is the correct way to play the hand, right? You always put your opponent to the test.
You give yourself 2 chances to win a pot. Absolutely.
In the WSB, the first day, he wore
Check on the turn.
It was like ducky sweat.
That is a great card to run one more street of a bluff for the old 7
The
high.
fanny pack was epic, and then a full on.
Gonna make it real hard for a pair of 10s to call here, huh?
Outrageous, and then he had the big visor,
But he knows he has
and
to
there
bet.
it is. He's going to bet. He's going to win. Yeah, he
No.
bets. Oh, no, he checked?
This has gone check.
Oh, I thought Mike was
7
stacking
deuce
chips
gave
right
up.
there. Yeah.
So when it's all said and done, he fired 1 street and gave it up. I mean, that's.
I'm
really surprised. I mean,
here's the thing: the guy limps to the straddle. You get the 10-9-1 flop, a jack on the turn, a king on the river. I mean, what hand is he limping there? Apparently 10-6 is the answer, but there's a whole bunch that obviously beats 7 high, but is enough to call with.
But you and I have both seen Mike X play. I mean, we call him Mike X for a reason. And we've seen him do, I don't know if worse is the word, we've seen him do different before. And win big, huge pots.
I mean, I'm very surprised you got the 7 deuce game on. You know you're gonna have to make a bet basically,
Right.
unless you get lucky and hit miracle
And
flop.
he fired the flop, and then he got called, and he kind of gave up on the hand. But maybe I'm surprised he did not 3-bet the fan or fire
Bet on the river
third
there.
card.
Yeah, I am too.
Because does he think he's calling a 2-pair hand or whatever?
Just give him his hand back.
Maybe
Just
not.
give him his hand back. Is that all right? Yeah.
Give him the hand back.
Yeah.
What you got there, John?
Just thinking about Brian, who found a way to win with 11th pair on that board. One of the questions we asked him before he came on the stream was, what's one of your biggest poker accomplishments? And he was saying that he made the final 3 tables of the PokerStars Sunday Million one time.
And they average like 5,000 players a day.
Apparently, 5,000 is a small field for this. The average is closer to 7,000 people. So if you can imagine in one sitting playing the main event from start to finish, that would be playing the PokerStars Sunday Million.
All right, full disclosure here, I'm a little biased because I do some freelance work for PokerStars.
Yeah.
But that is one of the toughest online tournaments in the world. Sure. All the big name pros plays that tournament. I was talking to Ryan LaPlante before the stream night. He goes to Toronto to play these online tournaments.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, he's got a friend who has a place in Toronto. He just goes there. He gets in these tournaments. He spends a week. You know, he plays the W Coops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So online poker is not dead by any extent. Like, you know, that people think it is. PokerStars is doing really well. The action is phenomenal. Bahamas is, you know, the PCA is still a great event. PCA runs a 25K tournament every single day.
Are you serious?
Every single day. And you know what they've done? They've added shot clocks to it because players love shot clocks now. It's our daily tournament here at the Bellagio at 2 o'clock every day. Is a $200 buy-in shot clock tournament.
We had a very successful shot clock tournament, the 5 Diamond.
Yes. Oh, it was our biggest
event of the 1Ks, wasn't it?
Yeah, you lost a bet on that one.
Of course I did.
Go figure.
Anyway, we're just opening this up to people to come in here and try and prop bet you, aren't we, Craig?
Yeah, I'm going to go broke to over-unders.
We got a request for a shout-out in the chat. I'm a donkey, LOL88. Says, can we get a shout-out for Nate in the box?
Dealer Nathan Pease. Yes, absolutely. We can give a shout-out. We locked him in last week. He dealt for 2.5 straight hours. Not one mistake.
And we're giving a shout out to Nate. We got to give a shout out to Janet. And coincidentally enough, they both have the same hairdo tonight. That was not planned. It just kind of worked out that way. No, our dealership at the Bellagio. Hey, look who's in the game. Is she in? Or is she just hanging out, hovering over it? No, she's playing.
Nope.
Danielle Anderson. So, because I'm going to brag because I'm from Minnesota, Danielle and Ryan are both from Minnesota. Ryan's from Brainerd. If you've seen the movie Fargo, it takes place in Brainerd. The TV show is all based on actually some stuff that happens in Brainerd. Danielle is from Minnesota, from Mankato. They're about 2.5 hours apart from each other, and I'm like right in the middle of them in the cities. Lots of great poker in Minnesota. People, even though it's only limit, I think that people learn to play the game differently.
Yeah,
so Danielle having some sheet changes.
Yeah,
right?
Danielle
Mike
entered the game. She bought in
share.
for 2,000. We didn't know Danielle was going to make it on tonight, but it looks like Gary has left the game. And
Gary's wife
Danielle
probably called. He's a new wife. He just got married last week. He said, hey, it's time to go get some milk and bring home some bread.
He had permission, but he had a curfew. Yeah, exactly. So welcome back. And that's our first repeat player here back on Bellagio.
Yeah, Danielle. And a lot of you will know Danielle from everything. Her interaction with the infamous poker player last year at the World Series of Poker, where she completely owned Twitter for about 4 days. Because she said a lot of stuff to that player that a lot of the rest of us wanted to say. We just haven't seen that person. She's been on television, other live streams. She's a phenomenal player. And again, a lot of these guys are very familiar with her. I think she saw Mike X in the game, was like, I got to get in this game right now. And again, we haven't seen really a lot of action from Mike like we expected, but he's played. He played the 7 deuce. He played the Queen 6, which is right up his alley. We're going to see what happens here in the coming future. Looks like Mike X actually has a hand this time with the pair of 10. John, what else is going on?
He's just completed the $20 straddle with the 2 10s. He's up against 3 high and a mystery hand, so we'll see where we go from here.
Danielle's got the mystery hand here. Is Brian going to bet 3 high here?
Brian is firing the Michael Jordan. He's going to get it through.
Stream that I watched, I saw Brandon do the accidental
We didn't get a check raise on him like that. It's kind of.
The flop goes check, check, check. Mike checks pocket 10s twice, and at that point, Michael Jordan gets fired.
And then he did have a gut shot straight from him with the ace-4 on the board.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Pick up the gutter on the turn.
Again, Chris Brown is coming to the MGM Grand Garden Arena May 20th along with 50 Cent and Fabulous. Chris Brown is like, he's one of the most infamous people in music right now. Right? You either love him or hate him. Whatever you think about him, he puts on an impressive show. How the man can dance for 3.5 hours on stage and breathe a thing. The only person I know that might be in that shape is Craig because of all this CrossFit training that he likes to
We're
do.
not going there. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, we have a funny comment here. someone asked who D-Moon was, who's obviously Danielle.
Yeah.
And Pony Lad says confirmed Darvin Moon.
I can see how you could get them confused. I mean,
Someone's going to take issue with that.
I wouldn't mess with Danielle though. She's a CrossFit. She just took third place at the Festivus Games at CrossFit. I meant to ask her if chair throwing was an event there.
For distance? Chair throw for distance.
We're gonna leave that story. We'll leave that story.
Anyways,
for the
moving on.
We'll leave that story for everybody else. And the people in Vegas
Yeah.
know the story. It's a great story for Danielle. I'm gonna hear about that, right? She's probably gonna body slam me. Right?
Open the 7 diamond.
In other terms, Danielle loves Sudoku.
Oh, man.
Anyway, big shout out. We gotta thank Danielle for coming on for the second time on the stream here.
She really said she had a great time last week. This has been a lot of fun for all of us. Again, we talked about this. This took Craig, with all of his power and authority here at the Bellagio, 2 years, only 2 years to get done. But it's been a lot of fun. And if you want to come out and have fun with us and play in this game, poker@BellagioResort.com. Send us an email. Tell us about yourself. We will send you back. We will send you back a bio sheet for you to fill out. You can hit us on Twitter, Bellagio Poker, @Bellagio Poker. My partner, John Harden, is the Great Hardini. I am Dallas Scott 73. I'm your host. And Craig Lump is our Director of Poker and Race and Sportsbook here at the Bellagio. We got a hand here, John. What's going on?
$20 straddle got opened early by Robert with the Queen 10. Danielle calls out of the big blind with the Ace Jack. Ron defends the King 10 of spades, flops the nut flush draw against a pair of aces. When this flop first came off, I freaked out because I thought that was the 4 of spades and it just made gin. Now there's the 1, 2, 4, 5 on board. This pot might have the brakes thrown on it just a little bit. It went a bet of 130 and a call from Ron with the nut flush draw on the flop. Danielle checks this turn.
And again, Danielle and Ron are regular Bellagio poker players. They know each other very well. They know what each other is capable of here. I think that Danielle's trying to play small poker ball on a kind of a wet, dangerous board here. Just probably check calling here.
$380 bet into about a $500 pot here on the turn.
So about 70%, 75% of the pot.
Well, I saw him carried, but I don't know the money for it. That's how much I followed up.
Danielle gives it up. Wow. All right, something else we need to learn about tonight. Okay.
Credit where credit's due is incorrect for once.
Yeah, and well done, Ron. Way to take the pot up. Take the pot.
Like we said, you got to give yourself as many chances as possible to win the pot. If you can't make the best hand, put some money and
I
see
said
what
Doyle
happens.
Brunson super system. It's funny. The super system was written in like 1972 or something like that.
I think it was published in 72. I think it was written before that, you know.
And it's now 2017, so it's 45 years old, the book, and it's still incredibly relevant in poker. Doyle Brunson's theory of always being aggressive, putting your opponent at the decision so you don't have to make the decision.
Absolutely.
It's hugely relevant.
It's still pertinent today.
I always feel like when I have losing sessions, it's because I wasn't aggressive enough. You know, like I played spots weekly,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how relevant that is. Like, poker's changed a lot, but it hasn't changed much, if that makes sense. It's very consistently, a lot of the same things are the same. Anything interesting going on in the chat, John?
Not at the moment. There's some discussions about who ultimately trained D-Moon Girl how to play poker.
She was an online player. Danielle is married, and her husband's an online player. He plays a lot locally around town. So she has a poker dynamic. She lived here in Vegas for 2 years. She lived in Minnesota, and then when online poker went dark in the United States, she decided to move to Vegas. Her and her husband have done incredibly well, not only in poker but CrossFit. No, she's been playing for a very, very long time.
That was not a lineup conducive to.
It's like this hand is going to be folded around. I was trying. To Brian, who's in the cutoff. He says I'm just going to fold. gives up the
So this
button.
$20 straddle, forgive me for not paying better attention than I am, but it's been on for the better part of the last 2 laps here, it looks like. So it might just be the 2, 5, 10, 20 for the foreseeable future here.
Yeah, and again, at the Bellagio, we allow – this game is a 2-5-10. We normally play 2-5 or 5-10. For the streams, we've added 3 blind games. Maybe we'll get those going in the room regular. We'll see what happens. But we do allow you in any game that you want to play, you can straddle a straddle. So if the 20 is on, you can make it 40, then 80, 160, 320, 640. It is – I don't know anybody else that allows you to straddle a straddle. In the old days, you used to be able to straddle a straddle at the Biloxi, but only in PLO.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing. The straddles didn't have any relevant position to each other. You'd have 100 on the button, and then the button being the 9, and then the 5, so you'd have 200 in front of them for no apparent reason, and the action's in the 6. And
John and
it got a little confusing.
Yeah, John and I used to work at our sister property, the Beau Rivage, down in Biloxi, Mississippi. For years, that's actually how we know each other, because we used to work together down there doing some stuff with the WPT and other places. And we've made some very interesting perceptions from the game back then to the game now.
Absolutely.
And the PLO games on there were amazing.
Oh, sure.
What's going on this
And
We've got mystery hand versus mystery hand. The $20 straddle's on by Robert, and it folded all the way to Ron. He would have been in the $5 blind. He made it 70 with something. Called by Robert.
You guys take a
Ron
lot
bet
of
the
classes
flop.
together and stuff.
He's now bet the turn. A pretty raggy, awful little board of the 6 tray deuce with the king on the turn. Now we've got bet call. Man, this is possibly the weakest part of my game. Is the blind versus blind. In tournaments, it's the thing
I won't tell
wanna
another
avoid.
5-beat story. I won't, because I don't want to lose.
You might lose another
You won a
one.
pot, you
Well, the
lost
thing
a
is-
pot. Yeah.
Craig actually owes me like 6 dinners. I don't want.
Well, I
give
got
one
even
back.
for one.
Yeah, I don't want to give any more back to him. So yeah.
Again, we want to thank Jimmy Buckets for the call on the chat for the call out of the Dallas Scott bad beat story. We let that slip. We promised to do better in future
Did Ron just bet
streams.
$500 in this hand?
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of. I mean, the bet on the turn was 280 in the call. So I mean, they've put in 180.
Robert hasn't seen a hand to the river today, has he?
Yeah, I mean, you're no poker.
I'm
Yeah.
willing to bet he hasn't.
Cool. It's cool.
I bet he hasn't seen a hand pass before. Maybe we'll see what happens here.
He has put in some successful 3 bets and 1 unsuccessful
Right.
3 bets so far.
Because he got 4 bet by Ron. And
Yeah.
So there's some history tonight
like
with
he
the two of these guys.
Man, I have no clue where to even begin to. I mean, either one of these players in this spot could have just about anything. At this point, it's pretty plausible that Roberts got some form of a hand he wants to get the showdown with, having thought this long. But man, I mean, this
I
is
hope we're mic'd right now.
this is a perfect example of why it's much more interesting to be able to see the whole card.
right. And he calls.
Let's see if we see the hands here.
We've got a loser and a winner. The winner is a complete mystery.
Ron wins the hand. Oh, Ron had ace.
Ace.
Wow. That was kind of the board ended kind of dangerous there for him with the 2 kings there.
Yeah, so he's in the $5 blind, just raises it, gets 1 caller, bets flop, bets turn, bets river, gets called, and called. Ho hum, ace.
Let's leave it up to viewers. What do you think Rob had in that hand there? Let's see in the chat. Anybody got an idea?
I mean, he could have
we'll find out later.
very easily
Any
had.
pocket pair, yeah.
I mean,
We're hearing.
there's a wide range of hands given the previous couple pots they played together that he would be right to get the
do you
showdown.
think there comes a point though where Robert is tired of Ron 3-betting and 4-betting and betting, being overly? Maybe Robert thinks that Ron is being overly aggressive against it, and maybe he had a bluff catcher. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, like literally any pair, and I'm going to showdown. I don't care what comes off, and it's a pretty good turn river for the literally any pair type hand when it comes running king because it takes the
Any
random
7s, 9s,
overcard.
5s are probably good there. Right?
Yeah. Even if he's just got the pair of deuces or trays, you know.
And ace queen might be good there, right?
Absolutely.
Ace king is definitely good.
I mean, I'm assuming that ace high, ace jack, or ace queen is going to be at the dead bottom of your calling range. I mean, I'd like to see a raise much more there, but that being said,
Brian has raised with a 6-4 of clubs, and he's going to win this spot.
Well, there's now another $20 to win with the raise and take it. We're no longer at the gallon of gas and the Toblerone. We're at the case of Miller Lite plus something else. $37 with the live 20 on.
Very, very nice. That'll get you the sea bass at $37.
You know, they just changed that sea bass.
Did they?
I'm a little heartbroken. It was like a little lime and some crunchy potatoes and a cream sauce, and now they've got a XO kind of chili sauce base on it with a little bit of green bean.
That actually sounds really good to me. I think that might be the next dinner that Craig has to buy.
Yeah, I ordered
because I'll
it.
lose another over/under bet. I get it. I get it.
I ordered it for a young lady in the room here yesterday, and she was cautious and got everything on the side, but it looked phenomenal.
And for those of you who don't know, John is our head waiter here. He runs Bobby's Room, and he will tell you that his job consists mainly of getting people food.
If you'd like a seat in the game or a restaurant recommendation, please go to John when you're on the floor here.
If you want to play in Bobby's Room, just call our poker room up and ask for John. John runs the list. Even if we don't have a game, he's got everybody who plays poker's phone number. He can find you a game. And he actually does this quite regularly. I'm actually amazed at sometimes how you get games going. You'll come in and be like, oh, there's no game. Should I go home tonight or should I get a game? And within 30 to 40 minutes, you've made some phone calls, and we got a game going.
Got an interesting one here. Limp under the gun, limp +1. We've got a raise to 50 from Ryan with the queen jack suited, a 3-bet straight away from Ron with the suited ace on the button. Back to guess who? Robert in the 4-seed in the blinds again. He's got another hand, but this time he's facing the 3-bet, and it looks like he's going to cold 4-bet it, $510 into a field of 5 players behind
Which
him.
might be the right way to play 8 queens here, right? Because he doesn't want to give anybody a pot odds or a chance to call the flop for free here, especially not deuce 3 of clubs, right?
Yeah.
It's
an interesting couple limps up front in this hand, but I mean, it's just one of those things where you can't allow an out of position flop 5 ways with the 2 queens unless you're just going to.
And look who's contemplating the call here, right? They just played a hand together. They played quite a few pots back and forth, and Ron's been on the better side of these pots tonight. As we already know, there's 1 ace gone. Is Robert finally going to get the best of him here in this hand?
I mean, maybe Ron's thinking, hey, maybe I can get my own highlight video if I just 5-bet.
right. Maybe he's thinking, because we've seen he's going to give it up, but we've seen Robert 3-bet and 4-bet out of the blind
just
a few times tonight. So Ron's just going to give it to him. He's like, probably this A7 is probably not good.
I mean, we're doing it, 30 more minutes?
The Bellagio Cup Poker Tournament, July 13th to the 18th. You can register for the first 3 days. That's not 3-day ones. We just allow you to register for the first 3 days. And that's like level 8 or 9 in the tournament. One of the things we do here at the Bellagio is that we play our major tournaments only till like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. So we
No dinner break, right?
Right. We know that you're going to play quite a few levels and quite a few hours. So we like to make it player friendly, like we do everything else in this room. So you don't
Main
have to play
events, 5 levels. You're done for the night about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
That's-
And actually, our good friend from Bobby's Room player that doesn't play a lot of tournaments, Nick Schulman, was on the card player podcast the other day, and he was talking about how much he loves the structure here, which I thought was really cool. There's a guy who doesn't play a lot of,
Right.
had huge success.
Doesn't play a lot of tournaments, but he took second in the 5-9.
Yeah,
And the Bellagio,
Cup, sure.
Well,
for
I don't
400,000 last
play
year.
that many of them, but when
when
I
I
do, I just win a grip of money.
That's July 13th to the 18th. Coming up May 22nd and 23rd. The 22nd, we have a 10K buy-in mixed game tournament. On the 25th,
What's your
it's a
name and what's your
25K
address?
buy-in mixed tournament. Again, just hit us up at Poker Bellagio Resort.com.
Ronnie
We can talk to you about room rates or call the room and ask for Penny or Colette. They take care of all that stuff. They're the nicest ladies you've ever met in the world.
And don't hesitate to hit us up on the email. We've had a lot of people come and play the game. We had Jared on the stream earlier. He was in town for a convention.
Ahad is in town.
The big winner in the game.
Right. Dan last week. Or again, I'm Dallas Scott, and my email is or text is at my Twitter. I can't
Twitter.
talk too many T's. Text, Twitter, chat, Twitch. My Twitter is at DallasScott73. John Harden is the Great Hardini is 3. And if you
Feel free to write me a mail letter.
Yeah. You can send a
the address
messenger
is
by horseback.
37. The address is it's 3600 South Las Vegas Boulevard, Las Vegas, Nevada.
8911 something.
Yeah. So like hit us up or at Bellagio Poker on Twitter. We have people that'll answer your questions. Anything you want to know, we try our best to be a player-friendly room. As you can see, the flags, we always have lots of games. We have the best rates, probably on this side of the universe. You can earn food comps in the room. Just get your M Life card. Lots of benefits to playing. Your M Life card is actually good at all MGM properties across the country. Got to give a big shout out to my man Johnny Grooms and Eric at National Harbor in Maryland.
Been open about 6 months now.
Has it been
Opened
6
up-
months
Well,
already?
they opened in December, believe it or not,
Yeah.
and they're just crushing it. I mean, it's
They have them and our friend Tab at the Borgata are having a battle to see who's the best poker room
on the East
on
Coast.
the East Coast.
Sure.
The first time I ever went to the Borgata was on a Thursday night. They do $500 high hands every 15 minutes. I walked into that room on a Thursday night. There were 92 cash games going
Is this at the Borgata?
at the Borgata.
Must have been a weekend.
No, it was a Thursday night. 92 cash games going and a 6-table tournament. They had 98 tables going on a Thursday night. That's amazing. John, what's going on in this hand?
You got a deuce flop after it's gone a raise from Ryan with the ace-10, 2 calls from pocket fives, and the ace-5 from Danielle in the blinds. Brian has checked the best hand.
Great idea.
Danielle checks. Ryan is just going to continue here, it
Cup on every
appears.
table, especially the 1500 cap.
Deuce. It's a fun flop.
Ryan's calling here with a pair of fives, right? He just-
It looks like a check raise. I don't know how much the bet is in the 1 seed. I can't really tell. Let's see. Yep, it's a bet of 55 and a check raise to about 170. Wait. Okay. The graphic for a moment blew a gasket. It said 760. We're going 55 to 160.
That's a little more reasonable here.
He
right?
was no. That's just our producers making sure that we're awake.
Speaking of our producers, we got to give a shout out to Matt and Jason. Everything you see on the screen, they
Because
do.
of them.
Yeah, we have no control of that. They make sure that we're watching the right players, the action, we're following the correct action. They put in a lot of time setting up the cameras, and this studio that we're in has to be taken down every night. Otherwise, Craig would not have an office. So it's a lot of work. There's actually a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to put this together. So we want to give them a shout out for all the work that they did.
After the check raise on the flop, Brian has continued 4 blank on the turn, basically, and bet 335 into about 500 once again. Ryan in the tank with ace high.
He's probably going to get himself right. Ryan is a very shrewd player. Again, he had the record for most cashes in the WSOP with 12 last year, and then on the last day he lost the record to somebody else. So he had the record for like 4 days, 3 to 4 days.
He's
For
gonna
most
let
cashes.
it go.
And he actually won himself a bracelet last year, $190,000 for first place in that.
That was a crazy tournament. It was. I didn't even realize that they gave a bracelet away for this. I thought it was like some weird side event, but they did a $500 pot limit Omaha tournament, which of course got every single person with $500 they could shake loose into it. You know.
If
And then
Craig,
Ryan took down a-
if Craig would have gave me the day off, I would have played that
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah, you're not
So
getting any days off this
Ryan,
summer.
Ryan beat however many thousands of people registered this thing and won $500 into
So he crushes it.
$190,000 in a bracelet.
And 11 other cashes. That's, I mean, you know how many tournaments
to do.
Yeah, I mean, I
then-
didn't.
and
I
then
meant
he
to ask
comes
him
back-
how many actual tournaments he played last year because it's hard to play because the tournaments overlap.
I was saying this last week. Yeah, the better you do in any individual tournament, the less tournaments you have the opportunity to play. So to cash in 12 means you're making at least day 2, if not day 3. You're tying up a lot of time.
Yeah. So kudos to him. Again, he had the record. He's determined that this year he's going to try and break his own record and retake the record. It's kind of.
And don't forget, too, I mean, he crushes it all summer, and he comes back for 5-9, and he takes down one of our prelims,
yeah,
too.
Yeah.
And dinner after dinner after dinner to boot.
Yeah, right. On the he won some
I
prop
feel
bets
like
on
we're going to get a
Twitter.
memo this week talking about that we're not allowed to talk about Craig and his prop bets next week. I just
Yes,
feel like that
that's
email is
coming.
coming.
Yeah, that's coming.
It's weird. It's interesting too because of the way that the Player of the Year awards are rated. Ryan ended up like 45th.
That's
How do you
insane.
make 12 caches with WSOP?
Win a 5 diamond event.
They do weight larger buy-ins more heavily, correct?
Yes, and that bothers me because I feel like the size of the field, should make more difference in the amount of the buy-in.
Yeah.
Because Ryan beat like 3,700 people to win that bracelet.
Yeah, but if Fedor beats 50,
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting
Wait,
debate.
but it's 15, but it's only like 32 uniques. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of an interesting dynamic. You got something going on in this hand, John?
yeah, it's another mystery versus mystery hand of blind defense. Ryan is in the $20 straddle here, maybe the $40 straddle. Anyway, Robert opened to 130, and Ryan is now 3-bet it to 400. Cleared everybody else out of the way.
Robert goes all in.
That is a
And snap call by
4-bet
Ryan.
shove and a call.
Snap call by Ryan.
Let's hope they turn these hands up so we get to see them.
Aces versus kings.
Ooh, there's a king.
That could be
Change
good or
things.
bad for somebody. Somebody flinched. I'll get.
Oh, it
Oh,
is.
does not look like they decided to run it twice.
Let's see if we're going to see the hands here.
Or whatever it is, looks like
Robert's got the ace queen,
queen.
and it's good. I'm guessing Ryan had the 2 queens, 2 jacks there.
yeah, kind of a dry run out like that. When you have hands like 2 kings, 2 queens, 2 jacks there, I know like a lot of players, like Daniel Negreanu's big on playing small ball, what he calls small ball poker, and maybe seeing a flop, playing them after, so you don't let somebody run out a hand like that and catch the ace on the river. So there's always like differing theories about how you should play those hands. And because we're at the Bellagio and all the big name players come in, I really like talking those strategies with these guys. And you'd be surprised how often like these guys are willing to talk strategy and help you out with hands and stuff like that. It's another great reason to come to this room, because if you're trying to make your game better, we have great games for you to do that. And we have pros that you all know. You've seen them on TV a million times. You see them at the World Series winning bracelets, and they're willing to talk to you about the hands.
I kind of actually have mixed feelings about it because there's a lot of strategy discussion that goes on in games, and it's not just here, it's everywhere I've ever played, that people want to say, oh, well, that's a good raise, or that was a good 3-bet, or I think you should have folded pre-flop here, and it's, you know, you're accidentally educating your opponents in that spot. You're the only possibility is that you're making the games you're playing in tougher to play in, right?
Makes sense. But even in Bobby's room, in the 1,500, 3,000 game, we see those guys discuss those hands all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know, one guy loses a pot to the other guy, and is like, should I have lost here? You know, like, or should I have called that? You know what I mean? And then it becomes a discussion about, you know, in deuce, are you calling with a single draw deuce? Should you call with a 10 or a jack? You know, and it's an interesting. From working here and just sitting back, I've gotten a big education about poker. You know what I mean? Listening to these guys talk, and I get to listen to the best guys in the world talk. What's going on in this hand here, John?
Missed the pre-flop action, but it looks like we've got an early raise from Ahad would be my guess, and then a call from Mike on the button and defend from Danielle. Although there might have been a 3-bet here. Long story short, Mike X is going to win the money with
So
the
Craig,
mystery hand.
earlier we were talking about the weighting of tournaments, field size versus buying size.
Yes, that's an interesting debate because you know the WSOP's put on some lower. They've moved some of the low end buy-in events in order to garner big fields, and some pro players, and I'm actually going to say I disagree with them, say that is diluting a bracelet. And I completely disagree because these big fields, I think the size of the field,
24,000
people to play, and you got to beat them.
And you got to beat them. How is that? I'll tell you what. I'm actually glad the WSOP did away with because I thought it cheapened bracelets.
Know what you're going to say?
The rebuys.
Yes.
When pros can put in, I'm an average player. I got X amount in my bankroll.
Yeah.
I'm coming to play a bracelet event. I got one. I plan out 5 events. You know what I mean? These are the 5 events that I think I can play when I come to town.
Sure.
I got a guy putting in 7, 8, 10 rebuys, which is more than I have to spend on the 5 events. I don't think that's fair. Like I'm kind of anti re-entry events. I like freeze-outs.
Yeah, but I'm going to
It
disagree.
counters-
But
it gives-
don't you
it-
think that the fact that they have now with the re-entry events that players have to they have to go broke in order to re-enter? Isn't that going to up your chances for the 5 events? Or excuse me, when you do win, when you play 5 events or 6 events for the summer, that you're going to have a bigger cash at the time because players are.
Granted, the money is more, but now the guy you busted twice comes back and beats you after the rebuy period is over and takes you out of the tournament.
But don't you want a guy that's on tilt, gone through 2 bullets, he's on his 3rd bullet, he's already fired, putting more money into the prize pool that you're going to try to win?
There's a guy here, we all know in Vegas. He took 2nd in our first 2, and both of our first 2 25K events, mixed game events, who we've all seen put 10, 12, 15 rebuys into a tournament.
That's going to be like the big revelation.
Very few people can compete with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's
And he
I
does
don't know
it
though, but
because
I'm going to say this though, and I represent a guy that's only going to play, like you say, you only might play event or summer. The day I catch, the day I hit big in a tournament, I'm going to want players to play bad and put as many buy-ins into the tournament as possible. That's just my opinion. I know everyone's on a different side of this for re-entries.
The reason he puts them in, that is where the disagreement comes. He believes by putting in that many rebuys into an event, he derives an actual advantage over the field that makes the tournament, which should be equal for everybody, right? It makes it asymmetrical, where that guy believes he has an advantage, and he may be right that he has an advantage.
Sure.
Which, you know, I guess the counter, unfortunately,
here's
is
the other
if
thing.
you don't think it's fair, don't play.
I'm going to go back on my so I'm going to go back on what they just said, and this is a conversation Sean McCormick and I had, Sean from over RE and I've had quite a bit. Is there doesn't need to be a cookie cutter recipe for every single event. There can be different ones. I think that our events here are different than, for example, the WSOP main event, which I think is everyone likes that to be a freeze out, and they're happy with that. And then you see a difference over here at the 5 Diamond where everyone comes out and plays. So, to your point, I think there can be different.
John, pick up the action on Sam for us. 7 Deuce game
the live
is on,
20,
right?
the live 40 is on, and Michael just won himself an extra $350. He put the cold 4 bet in, I believe, and or no, that had to be just the cold 3 bet. Excuse me. Anyway, picks it up with the 7 Deuce. Everybody pay me. I need some set over set money back.
Yeah. He picked up a nice $300.
Is that the first 7 Deuce we saw come down?
It's the first 7 Deuce we saw
First
win.
successful
Yes.
one,
Yeah. Last week we had 3 successful 7 Deuces.
Yeah.
And then we had the big
And
one
we
with
almost
Danielle.
had the best one.
As much as I love Danielle, I would have liked to seen her get her kings cracked in that hand against, or her ace king cracked in that hand against Dennis in the 7 Deuce. Again, the Bellagio Cup we talk about all the time, July 13th to the 18th. Come out. We run satellites for that tournament. I believe we run them on the 11th and 12th. Is that correct, Craig?
No, that's correct. That's incorrect. July 13th is the opening satellite at noon,
Okay.
1K, and then we'll have some ones in the morning, some turbos before the event starts. But main event starting on the 14th.
July 22nd, we have our 10K mixed game tournament, and on the 23rd, we have our 25K mixed game tournament. I'm sorry, May 23rd, 22nd, and 23rd. I'm already getting way ahead of myself. And we're actually, after the series, we're going to do that tournament once a month. A lot of the big name pros that came to this want to play these tournaments. Aria has Hold'em tournaments. Some people are just tired of Hold'em, and they want to play the mix of games. So we accommodated them and said, okay, let's do that. We'll do this here. It's become kind of our next thing. And the last one we ran, the first one was very successful.
You think I'm gonna fold 7 Deuce free? You're wrong.
First place was on $300,000 the first day, $200,000 the second day. Ben Lamb won the first one, Daniel Lyon won the second one.
I made the double.
Huge, great fields, great players, you know. And as
It was a who's who of poker,
it
for
was,
sure.
you know. And as one of the tournament directors here, it's just fun to watch.
Oh, sure.
You know what I mean? It's fun to
It's
watch.
fun. It's fun those moments when we get to take a step back and
Yeah.
become fans of the game
Yes.
again, which we're so used to seeing stuff like this all the time. But
they're in
when you
sight.
have something, I mean, I walked in and there's literally 3 tables at this before Shuffle Up and Deal, all mixed game players, all bought in for 25K. That's exciting on every level.
It is.
And you know who else was? We had someone from the media was here, and you could tell they were living that excitement as well. I mean, it's always cool. And I know when an event's really successful is when I've gone home the other night and I'm sweating the live feed from our room.
From our room, right,
I mean,
right.
I was literally checking the updates because I've been here for 12 hours, but that's always a sign to me. You're telling me that the event has really been successful.
We got a hand developing here, John. Looks like Brian has ace jack of spades. Mike X has pocket nines. We don't know what Michael has.
Raise, call, 3 ways to a flop. Michael's first act. Here is he not? Yep. Check,
like a
check
check.
to the pre-flop raiser with the ace jack.
Mike X is calling here with pair of nines, right? Probably, unless Mike doesn't. Now it's a little different now playing the hand three-handed as opposed to head-on, right? Since Mike
Absolutely.
called, since Michael called, well, Mike X is coming along for the ride.
123 ways.
Did you say
To
you
the
were
turn we
close?
go. That's a
Jing-
card here.
Jing.
Now, I don't know how much action he can really get, but Mike's not going to shy away from this one, obviously, with the old nines full. Mystery hand in the 6
And Michael's he check called last time.
I mean, the way Michael runs, he's got to have the 7s full here, right? There's no way he can have any other hand.
I actually put him on ace 10, but either way, it checked around.
But you know which bar we're talking
Queen of diamonds might be a dangerous card because Michael could have a hand like Queen 10, right? 10 9, Queen 10. But Mike X is just looking for a chance to put the switch in the pot. Disguised his hand very well by checking his hand.
I'm very curious what Michael has here in the 60.
Mexican. Sky Furies. But it's still
I don't know if
Fury.
that was a Fury restaurant, though. You could be right.
It is now. It is now. Mexican place. Now it is.
$300 bet into about a $500 pot. It's been a kind of a deja vu pot size and bet size.
That was the worst. When you register for a tournament, you got boozy.
What's Brian thinking about it? He thinks ace high is good.
I do not know.
I mean, he bet the continuation bet the flop and got called by 2 players, right?
Yeah, it's actually the best place.
You got to put one of them on a pair, right? I mean, what are his options here? He could raise, maybe thinking that one of them is weak and he could represent a hand like the runner flush or straight. The runner straight. He's going to fold, and Michael's going to fold.
Muck. Too big a hand for the situation.
Sometimes it happens in poker, right? You make a monster, you can't make.
Well, I mean, you know, it's hard enough to make a pair when you take away a bunch of pair cards from your opponents. It's hard for them to make a hand as well. It's kind of a basic concept that people are probably going to make fun of me for. On the
Unless
chat,
you're
but it is
Fedor,
true.
then you can make a pair every single hand for someone, and you never lose a flip.
Hey, the straddle
Not that he's not a good player, but I mean, like when you're a great player and you have luck on your side too,
Double
it
straddle.
makes you really tough to beat.
I mean, this is some kind of run we've seen here. I mean, it's almost unprecedented.
I don't think we've ever seen a run like this before. Maybe Stewie winning
But if
the
there's just no
WSOPs back in the day, but I don't think we'll probably never see a run like this again either.
Well, I mean, for something to happen like this, you have to realize that these high rollers are a relatively new concept in poker, and they've only become very prevalent and common in the last 3 years?
I'll say, hey, we got a good comment here from Furple's Poker. Dan Coleman run rivals it. That's a good point. That was quite a run he had. I would say, very good point there.
But both of them, to kind of perpetuate, are in the last 3 years. You know, it's when these high
modern era.
rollers started getting a bunch of players, and they started proliferating, and there were more of them around. It's not very long ago. There was no way that you could win more than $1 million in a poker tournament.
And we're talking about Fedor and Dan Coleman, but I think that Jason Mercier, is it Mercier or Mercier? I have this discussion with his wife all the time. He has had the most consistent run over the last 7 to 10 years of anybody. So I guess his run should be equated with Fedor's because he's won over $1 million a year.
Easily one of the best stories. I mean, if not the best story of the summer last year.
Ronnie,
yeah.
aces. Ronnie,
I'll tell you guys a side note about that after we get off the air.
Ace king. Queen, jack 10.
Fair enough.
Oh, how did Ronnie have 4 cards?
So yeah, it's
What happened?
his consistency is phenomenal. I mean, and we all know that like if you play poker every day, there are ups and downs, but to be able to play consistent like that all the time is very hard. No matter how good you think you are, there are things outside of our poker world that bother us every day, affect how we do things. Losing, 3 or 4 pots in a row, big pots. Michael is a great example tonight. He lost some really big hands, but he hasn't let it get to him. He's continued to play, and he's picked back up some chips for that. So for Mercier to be as consistent as he is amazing. And that's why in my book, I think he's the best tournament player there is. Just because he's been consistent for so long.
It's all a game for the game.
Hard to dispute. Absolutely hard to dispute.
I'm gonna get some kid on the final table.
Looks like Brian's got a queen on of hearts. Ahad's got an ace 8 of spades. Daniel's folding a 7-5.
Brian's just putting a free bet here with the queen 9 of hearts out of the straddle for $215. And basically been beaten in the pot by Ahad with the ace of spades. They're opening it up just a little bit here late in the night.
Ahad's had a great night though. Like he has, he's the big winner of the game so far tonight. He's been kind of quiet lately, but early on, he played some big pots with some really nice hands. Set over set against Ron. He picked off some hands with some 3-bets pre-flop. He collected a lot of chips early. And remember, he played until 8 o'clock this morning. Like, played the 80-160 mixed game. 8 o'clock. Went home, took a nap, and came back. Actually in town for a medical convention and just said he was bored with it.
He said bored. And we said, "You're here for the medical convention?" He goes, "Nah, I only made it there about 20 minutes."
He said, "I went over there and checked it out and then left." And
time to play some poker.
Yeah.
However much time you need to spend at the convention center to write it off at the end of the year, let's go gamble.
And just so people know, so like before the game, we draw for seats. It seems like the last couple of weeks, whoever's been in the 8th seat has had a tough time. Just, I don't know, they've been card dead. They've been put in some weird spots. The 1 seat is last week, Dan. I think he did great for the spots that he was put in. He lost the least amount of Dennis. He lost the least amount of chips possible.
Dennis was put in just tough spot after tough spot after tough spot. I think that has kind of navigated itself over to the 6th seat for Mike this time. Just only so much you can do so often to get away from flopping sets and better.
Again, your Play MGM app, if you're geolocated inside of the state of Nevada, you can get all your sports, horse racing, when you're coming out for the WSOP, download the app, add your money. And Craig, can they pick up their money here? If you win money on it, can you just come to the Bellagio or any MGM property and pick up the money? How does that work?
You can cash out at the sports book. The easiest way to do it. If you're here when your trip's over, or if you're local, whatever, you can stop by sportsbook and close out or add money to your account, whichever you're looking to do.
Make it easy as possible for you.
We're not in the business of making it tough to gamble, are we?
No.
I learned on one of my first trips here when I was like 22 playing poker. But back when I used to play a little bit more, John, someone looked at me in the game and said, "Son, gambling is legal in this town." And I'll never forget that because it's stuck with me forever.
The one one-liner like that I ever remember was I used to be affiliated with some poker games in a part of the country where they're not legal. And a guy, basically hit and ran the game, doubled up and quit. And as he's walking out the door, another one of the regulars in the game says, "Well, on the bright side, if the police ever came through the door, they couldn't arrest him for gambling."
Right.
So we've got pair of deuces, the nut flush draw, pair in the nut flush draw, and the mystery hand here.
No,
that's the 10 of spades because I'm the worst.
Right.
So we've got ho-hum third pair now against pair of deuces.
And the mystery hand from
Mike X on the button with the mystery hand.
I checked the flop, it looks like, and now we're on the turn. The jack comes off. Michael is going to bet the 10 there, thinking it's probably the best hand.
He's probably going to pick it up.
And Ron can't call with the deuces there. 4 overcards. Can't possibly pick if you do.
I'll tell you.
1,900 cards on the river. That can beat you. Yeah, we used 24-8. We used 240 bets. That's why it was 1,900 cards. Yeah.
Close enough. At some point, the math will check
out. Chris Brown is coming to the MGM Grand Garden Arena. Lady Gaga's coming to the T-Mobile Arena. David Copperfield is always at the MGM Grand Arena. I have yet to see that show, but I hear it is absolutely amazing. And when I was a kid, I used to love David Copperfield's special, so I got to make sure I get a chance to go check that show out. Don't forget, my name is Dallas Scott. My co-host is John Harden, Director of Poker and Racing Sportsbook. Mr. Craig Lump is here. You can hit us up on Twitter at Bellagio Poker, at Dallas Scott 73, or the Great Hardini if you see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen, because that's a lot to spell right there, John. I'm just saying. If you come into the room, Craig is our poker room director of operations. Almost always here.
It sure seems that way sometimes.
Yeah. He's got an open door policy. People come in and talk to him all the time. You got suggestions for the room, for the stream, let us know. We try to make this as player-friendly experience as we possibly can. Make sure you get your M Life card on your food comp. We got some great restaurants, snacks. You like burgers, pizza. They have those great fruit parfaits over there.
I've consumed many of those over the course of my tenure here.
The kale Caesar salad is great too, a very popular item. Of course, we have Noodles, which is our Chinese restaurant. Jasmine. Well, Noodles isn't really Chinese. It's Asian in general. Jasmine is
Chinese specifically,
Yeah.
yeah. They advertise for noodles that it's Thai and Chinese and it's a pretty wide menu.
I like how John, our head waiter, just jumps in here with the
Hey.
all the menu
I do
details.
not want fries with that. Can I get a baked potato loaded with sour cream?
Yeah, not a problem, not a problem. For those of you guys that aren't in the loop on what they're giving me a hard time about, I've described my duties in Bobby's Ring as having the nicest job possible, where one of my responsibilities is asking people if they would like French fries with that. So
Fat fries or skinny fries?
fat fries, skinny fries. We now have the
Potato
garlic. We have Parmesan fries.
Do we really?
Through interim dining, yeah.
Oh, we might have to get some. Why aren't those in
It just
here?
keeps going.
Yeah. We also have restaurants like Olive's. Prime's one of the best steakhouses in town. Whatever your style of eating is, we have it for you. Okay.
It's been so long. I said I get to. It's been a while. It's getting fancy over here.
Last time you raised, I lost 50.
We got about 10 minutes left on the stream tonight. Looks like Daniel's got a king of hearts, queen of clubs. Ryan's got an ace-7 of hearts. Danielle raised the 40.
Yeah, folded all the way to Danielle on the button here, and she's going to open. Ryan 3-betting the ace-7 of hearts out of the
This is
$2
pretty standard
small
hand,
blind
right?
here.
She raises with a king on the button. He 3-bets.
Yeah.
Ryan flops a pair, but she's defending, of course, with king-queen on the button in position.
Yeah,
Ryan's
this is
first
probably, this is, again, I keep talking about this situation comes up so often in No Limit Hold'em where you end up getting 3-bet, you have specifically the king-queen, and it's just, it's a tough hand for me personally to play in 3-bet pots,
I actually like almost load this hand. And like Danielle, I probably would have called her on the one with it, but I hate the hand up in early position. I try to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So guys, let me ask you: is Ryan folds? I'm surprised. I thought he might have actually
Ryan
been checking
just
this.
3-bet pre-flop and check
When he
folded
hits the
that
pair.
flop.
Wow, that's surprising.
That is
I really
strong
thought
fold.
he was trying
That's
to
Minnesota.
check to induce Danielle to fire at the pot. That was my thought. But
And he was successful, and then
right.
step 3 was a little different than what we anticipated, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, is that what you guys thought too? It looked like he was just checking to induce a worse hand to bet.
Yeah, I mean, like you have a pair, you're going to try and get it to showdown. You don't want to blow the pot up too big.
And I will ask Ryan after this, like, when you 3-bet there and you make middle pair with the ace kicker, what was the best you were hoping for there with the ace-7?
I'll buy your green chips if you want.
We're gonna have to hit up Ryan about that hand on
Yeah,
Twitter
yeah.
and find out
And
what
we'll-
his thinking was.
yeah.
I was curious. We'll get that one on the. It's for the rest of the week. We'll blast out some of the clips from this week, so that you can check out some of the action, some of the bigger hands. So again, we've got a couple set over sets, and then an interesting play there by Ryan that we're really anxious to see his thinking on a hand like that.
We're going to add more to this stream. One of the things we're talking about, we added YouTube this week, so you can watch us on YouTube. We're also going to do some Q&A with the players afterward. As we go along, we'll add those to Twitch and to YouTube also.
Yeah, Dallas, do you want to give the viewers at home the rundown for the next couple of weeks, as well as the plans for the stream?
I will give them that 1 second, John. This looks like it might be a very interesting hand.
This is a really interesting spot. So Mike X, under the gun to the $20 straddle, just limped in, and he did the same thing with the 2 9s the previous orbit. Danielle opens a suited king. It folds to Michael, who 3-bet it to 2. It was an open to like 80, and Michael makes it 280. And Mike has just limp raised under the gun.
I told you he was
4-bet.
very capable of this. I've been waiting to see this all night. He limp raises monster pots all the time, and now it puts Michael in a. How does he know? How's Ace Queen not good here? And he's going to fold it.
Fires it
'cause he-
straight in the muck.
Because he doesn't want
Lot
to
of
raise for
respect there.
$920, right? And for another $640.
I mean, I did describe Mike earlier as being snake bit tonight.
Yeah.
Maybe firing the ace queen straight in the muck's not the worst. Disaster averted, very possibly.
I've seen Mike X do that quite a few times. That's what we call him, Mike X, the X Factor. Next week, we're going to have a 2-5-10 game again for the next 2 weeks. And then on the 24th, we are having our 5-10-20 no limit game. We might change the second one.
Might go higher, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe 2 weeks from now, we go 5-10-20 again. because we have a lot of the bigger players.
I mean,
wanna
even
play, but
even
this-
the players in this game clearly are wanting to make it play as big as possible. We've got the 20 on it. We've got the 40 on it a bunch.
So again, our plans, we got the next 3 weeks of streams. We got 2 5-10 games for the next 2, and then we're gonna try to do a bigger game, or we're certainly gonna do a bigger game that last week. But then we're gonna take the little couple weeks here off for the summer.
And I'm
since we're
arguing
quite
with
busy.
Craig right now. I want to broadcast live the main event, the final
Bellagio
table of the
Cup.
Bellagio Cup. Because we're doing something interesting this year.
I just want to put it in the pot.
We only play 9-handed at the Bellagio. All of our games are no-limit games or 9-handed. We don't play 10-handed games.
Michael flops another set.
Wow. Let's just see.
He's up against 7 high. Hopefully he gets it
Let
through.
Brett bet at him there.
Sorry, Brian was under the gun and opens the.
Is Michael thinking about folding a set here? He's like, I've
There's
lost
no
with no. He's like, this can't be happening again, right? He did win with the set of kings, but he lost the set of 8s instead of 3s. Normally, we run all of our games are 9-handed, but we've decided this year that for the Bellagio Cup and the WPT events from now on, that we're only going to run them 9-handed till we get to the money, and then they will become 8-handed games. Anything good on the chat tonight, John?
Yeah, Mike before the stream told me my whole job was to compliment his appearance because he couldn't possibly win, which was kind of the self-fulfilling prophecy. Grinding Daily just says Bellagio is rigged to good-looking Euros. So that's a new compliment for the set-flopping Michael.
We're actually going to have our first European player on next week, which is going to – I love watching European players play. I think they play a very much more aggressive style than we play in America. So I think that's going to be fun and interesting next week.
Michael's just check-raised his flop. Let the pre-flop razor lead for 85, and he's check-raised at the 260. With the 7 high, I think this might be the end of this one, barring something very unique.
Mostly.
Man, I have no idea.
Yours
There's
is like
stones around.
Okay, here we go with my pet peeve in poker, the unnecessary thing. I mean, he's not doing anything with his hand, right?
Unless he
I
raises
can't
him.
imagine.
I mean, he's got to rip it or fold, right? And
He was playing slap the bag earlier.
are you ripping it with 7 high here? Because in order to do that, though, you got to completely put Michael on just a stone cold bluff,
you
right?
got the backdoor straight and the backdoor flush draw, surrender. There we go. All
I
right.
forget you get to pick one.
Oh, are they putting the show 1 on for the last lap here, maybe?
I think Michael just showed that so we can tell everybody he flopped 4 sets in 2 hours.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is buried for the privilege.
Yeah. We got about 3 more hands left tonight.
You did the fake big line, called anyway.
No, we're just hearing from our producers. Looks like 2 more hands tonight.
2 more hands tonight? Okay. Again, my name is Dallas Scott. I'm your host. You can hear me at Twitter at DallasScott73. My co-host is John Harden, the Great Hardini on Twitter. If you, Craig Lump is our director of poker and race and sports book. Did I get that right? Finally?
I think finally by the end of the stream, he got it. He'll start all over next week.
You can hit him
Something
at
else.
Bellagio Poker. If you want to be on the stream, hit us up at poker@BellagioResort.com. Just tell us why you want to be on the stream, when you're going to be in town, and we will try and make that happen. Don't forget the Bellagio Cup is July 13th to the 18th, $10,000 buy-in. Last year, first place was over $700,000. I mean, we're the Bellagio. It's outside of our sister properties. I feel like MGM owns poker, with the exception of the World Series. We have the Bellagio in Vegas, the Beau Rivage down south in Biloxi. The East Coast, there's a big battle going on between National Harbor and the Borgata. If you want to play poker, you want to be an MGM property,
You've gotta
get your
go-
M Life card so you can earn your comps throughout the company.
You have to go so far to get to a regional market that isn't just absolutely dominated by MGM. You have to go to Macau.
Right, 100%. So get your M Life cards, earn your credits, your tier credits, your points. If you're inside Vegas, download the Play MGM app. Bet sports, races, keep Craig employed.
Looks like Danielle took it down there with a continuation bet on the flop. And we didn't get to see the other hand, but clearly didn't have an ace.
Looks like our 2 big winners tonight are going to be Ahad and Ron. Ron's up about 5,000. Ahad's up about 4,300 tonight. Neither one of them had to dip into their reload cups. You'll see the plastic cups around the table with the lids on them. Those are our Bellagio reload cups if you want to add your chips. those chips are not in play, but they do come in play anytime when you take them out. But you cannot. The max buy-in for tonight's game is $2,000. So anytime you get below $2,000, you can add those reload chips in.
Dallas, we got 40 on the straddle here for this hand. The second to last hand of the night.
Is Danielle on? No, who's on? Yeah, it is Danielle on this 40, right?
Yep, she made it 40 to go.
She did that last week for us too. Last hand of the night, she put the 40 on.
Folds
Looks
all
like
the way
she's
to
going to
the
get
10.
no action again. Or is Brian going to just try and take it away from her? No, the call. What is Danielle here? She's just checking.
Complete and a check from mirrored
The
hands.
same hand.
I bet this is a chop.
Well, there's some chance of an interesting pot here. We got bottom pair against, bottom pair.
Whose kicker's going to play here?
Like you lose, Mark. Could you
But,
please
Bet call.
And the call.
now it's going to be interesting if one of them tries to win this one.
Hey, man, you're
Jack on the turn might make them both think they have the best hand here, right?
Going into this turn, I guarantee you they both thought they had the best hand.
And the Jack makes them continually think they have the best hand. Check, check. Going to chop this pot unless somebody bets and tries to take it away. They both check.
Both happy to show down.
whack it up.
No, but actually, I'm not miserable. I'm having a great time. But it's the alcohol.
Yeah, I meant the poker line.
Boo for the chop. We like to see. We like to see. I was rooting for a runner or some type of flush draw or something. Brian with the clubs. All right, again, we do this every Wednesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific.
Be back next
till,
week. Follow us on Bellagio.
10 o'clock Pacific time. Come on out. If you want, again, if you want to be part of the stream, email us at Bellagio Poker. It's poker@BellagioResort.com, or hit us on Twitter at Bellagio Poker, Dallas Scott 73, the Great Hardini. We do now have a YouTube channel. We'll have videos up on that. And starting in the future, we're going to do after the show, I suppose we can call it, or after the pots. And we're going to interview the players and ask them what their thought process was on some of these hands and where they get to. And we will have guest commentators. We have a lot of people ask about that. We are working that out. So after we come back after the World Series of Poker, we will have some of your favorite pros come in and guest commentate with us and talk about how they would play hands and stuff like that. We're just kind of in our infancy of getting this thing going, but we've had a lot of fun with this, and we hope that you're enjoying the show also. Looks like this one.
Last pot of the night. Looks like Robert's opened it up.
Folded to him with
Ronnie will
the,
take one. Trust me.
looks like only, was the 20 on it in this
Ronnie
hand? It
will
looks
take
like
one.
it.
Okay,
So
I'll drink
folded
it.
to Robert. He opened the suited 8. That's the best 8 punch.
I just want one. I'm mostly just having.
Mike is called with another.
Oh,
mystery
shout out
hand.
to CN Poker. That's our friend Corey Nebel in corporate that helped us make this happen. Get us on the show,
okay.
Corey.
Corey, thank
Glad
you
you
for
got
the
to
money.
join in.
Thank you for the money. Are you enjoying this, Corey? Because if you are, we need raises. I'm just saying,
If Corey's watching, it means he canceled another date. So he's out there breaking hearts to watch the Bellagio pots.
But they're Tinder dates. I mean, how serious can they really be? Where are you going with that, Corey?
Shout out to Jimmy Buckets. Talked to you on the phone last week. He said you're coming back. Can't wait to get you on the stream as well.
Looks like Robert turned the flush draw straight draw. Going to take a stab at this pot, right?
Yeah. Mike's had a handful of mystery hands here in the 7th seed. I don't know if he's.
It fits, though. That's why we call him the X Factor for a reason. I mean,
And then they offered me like a deal, and
King of Diamonds probably going to get this hand check. And
I mean, Mike's got to have some of this, no?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is, Robert's got one way to win this pot now. So, Mike checks. He might just be trying to get the showdown as cheap as possible. It looks like a very small
Hey,
bet.
Dallas. Corey says Bumble, not Tinder.
Oh, Bumble. Okay. I don't have that app. I'm going to have to check that one out.
So give him some credit.
Are the girls hotter on Bumble than they are on Tinder? I mean, I don't know. Craig's not going to, he's going to stay away from it. He knows his fiance.
That's up to you guys. You figure that one out.
You have to at least have the plausible deniability. Of
Guys,
the
there's our
response
chip
here.
counts for the end of the night. Thanks again for joining us at Bellagio Pots. I'm going to turn it back over to Dallas. He's
Again-
going to close this out.
Yeah, if you want to come out and hang out, poker at BellagioResort.com. Hit us on Twitter at Bellagio Poker, at Dallas Scott 73, at the Great Hardini. If you want room rates, call the poker room. Ask for Colette or Penny. They take care of that. You're only required 6 hours. Get your MGM, M Life card so you can earn the credits and tier points so you can get free rooms in the future. Again, thank you guys for coming out to Bellagio Poker on the Strip. For my host, my co-host John Hardini and Craig Lump, I am Dallas Scott. Thanks again.